Good morning, pop culture. We are live. It is Tuesday, December 4th, 2018. It's 7:50 a.m. and it's time to start Good Morning Pop Culture. So the Captain Marvel trailer dropped, and we're going to be talking about that. I watched it a few times. I have some points I want to make about the trailer, about fan communities as a whole, and is about the way the film is already being reported on. You see, folks, the problem won't be the movie. The problem won't be the fans. The problem won't even be Brie Larson. It'll be media outlets looking to poke the bear, trying to become relevant, cool, and hip, and they're just ruining it for everybody. But this is Good Morning Pop Culture, and we have to wait till we hit 200 viewers. So while we wait for that, folks, good morning to everybody out there. We're also going to be talking about this PlayStation Classic and a couple other things that are out there to discuss in the world of entertainment, such as another item that proves that Star Wars isn't just for kids, or really even for kids anymore, because as the child-friendly merchandise rots because kids want other things, other toys, other devices, they go back to the well to cater to the old dudes and try to sell them really expensive things that are pretty cool, admittedly, but they're out of the price range for children and most new fans who won't even have a nostalgic attachment to said objects. So this is a stacked show, fully loaded, they would say at Q Branch, or stocked, according to R. But then again, he doesn't pay him to think. He's paid to do what he's told. So I wanted to tell you guys that last night I attempted to do 2 game streams, not because I was trying to just do game streams. I wanted to test out the devices I picked up. So I wanted to test out this new Elgato HD60, and it for the most part worked once I had the settings properly calibrated for the Switch, but for some reason I couldn't get my audio to work. So I'm going to make sure that I get that taken care of by Friday so we can have our super awesome ultimate day of fun. So basically after Good Morning Pop Culture, there will be some Smash Brothers action on this channel. So be on the lookout for that. Yeah, a lot of people are really mad about this Captain Marvel trailer. Like I said, folks, as soon as we get to 200 views, we will start talking about it. Believe me. I've been thinking about it for the last, 12 hours roughly? And, you know, I had a lot of thoughts about it. I took notes. That's what has changed in my life the most about this channel, or from this channel, excuse me. Before, it's like, oh, I'd watch a trailer. I'm not watching that. I'm watching that. Now it's, okay, that was a trailer. Why or how do I feel about this? And it's, it's relevant. It's important to have those feelings laid out so you guys can know how I feel and you guys can know why this channel feels the way it does. So, okay. This Streamlabs thing is already up? Huh. Let's see. Putting timeout. Sorry, folks. I tried to upgrade to Streamlabs yesterday, and I guess it didn't work. I don't know. I have all these things I'm trying to do to upgrade our channel to make it more fun for everyone out there, and I just couldn't get it done last night. Oh, man. So Avengers 4 will suck. I don't know about that, man. We have to wait until tomorrow to find out about that. So while we wait to hit our magical number to talk Captain Marvel, yesterday the PlayStation Classic dropped, and everybody's upset. Oh, there's only 20 games. There aren't games I like. This is this. This is that. Well, yesterday they discovered a backdoor hack to it. So if you put in a USB keyboard to the PlayStation Classic, you can basically exit out of the emulator and see all kinds of stats and different things like that about it. So I saw a really good theory. Yes, I'm talking about a theory I actually like here on this channel. What was it? Well, it was the fact that Sony put out 20 games that they could license or get real cheap because they own, and then they give you the ability to put your own games on there. Now, some people will say, why not just buy a Raspberry Pi or all this other stuff? Look, I'll admit there are other options out there, better options to emulate the Sony PlayStation. But it is fun to have a little PlayStation-shaped box and new controllers from Sony. So if you're on the fence, go to IGN, check out the information about the PlayStation Plus, or PlayStation Classic, excuse me. PlayStation Plus is a service, and we will make up your own mind. That's all I can ever tell you on this channel is make up your own mind, do what you want to do. Sometimes I recommend things wholeheartedly, and sometimes I just say, hey, check it out for yourself. Also, speaking of PlayStation, I did a Spider-Man stream for about 10 minutes till the PlayStation Network shit the bed. There's also an article about that, how it was down for maintenance for a little bit. And it sucked, too, because I was right in the battle with Mr. Negative on Spider-Man, and it died. So for those out there who are, wondering about, are we going to do Spider-Man? Are we going to do this? We're going to do that. We've tried. We will make sure it happens. Now, if you're out there boycotting Sony until they get their shit together, I think with the PlayStation 4, they've gotten their stuff together. You want to talk about a system that was not really great last generation? That would be the PlayStation 3. Now, with the PlayStation 4, I've been entertained. It's been my main console. I love it. Used it way too much. Played all the Uncharted games on there. I've gone back and played a lot of games that I missed on the PS3, much like the Switch. You see, the Switch and the PS4 are my makeup consoles for the Wii U and the PS3. Never owned a Wii U, and while I did own a PS3, everything I played was on the Xbox 360. Very few games were used on my PS3. Maybe 5 or 6 games, to be honest. So there's that. Cesaria Japan, thank you very much for a super chat. PS Classic in Japan has a better selection. Oh, I'm sure it does. I need to look into it in more detail. The only game I wanted to play on there in HD was Metal Gear Solid. So what did I do? I bought the Metal Gear Solid collection from 2013 that I'm going to download Metal Gear Solid in HD on my PlayStation 3 and play it that way. So that's about all I can. That's all the way I can play the game. Believe me, folks, I'm anxious to get to this Captain Marvel talk too. We need 29 more people, and we can start the show as always. I don't know. I've been reading about Captain Marvel. I've been getting ready to talk about Captain Marvel. The thing is, there are bigger implications with this film beyond just another meh Marvel movie. It goes deeper, and we're going to discuss that. We're going to take a deeper dive. Let's see. I don't have a reason why Sony shit the bed. Well, let's see. They outsold the Xbox. They have better exclusives. The PlayStation Plus is a great deal. You can get super cheap games. The build of the system's great. The PS Pro isn't that much better than the regular PlayStation 4, so I don't feel left out in the dark like I do if I had an original Xbox One. The Xbox One is a garbage system that I would have bought had they not launched it so piss poor. So yes, PlayStation 4 has been a fine system, better than the 3, and people have been receptive to it. Maybe VR is not your thing, and it's definitely not my thing, but the fact that I have so many games either for free or very cheaply downloaded to this system that I don't even have enough time to play is great, because you get the best value for your money. See, when I gauge anything, I gauge it in terms of financial value if I'm buying, obviously, if it's a product. So, for example, if I bought this Elgato thing and I used it one time, it would be a waste of money. The more I use it, the more I feel like I would get out of it. So the PlayStation 4 has received tons and tons of usage hours, be it a media player, a Blu-ray player, a game player, all those wonderful things. Had a lot of fun. Exclusives are great. Like I said, I've rediscovered the Uncharted games. Spider-Man's one of the best games I played this year. Yes, Red Dead is multi-console, but you know what? I'm playing it on the PS4. I'm having a great time. So there we go. Chewbacca fan 08424 the Virgin. Oh my God. I bought up all the Jyn Ersos at my local Walmart yesterday. Hopefully they'll order a case or two of new figures. Yes. I feel as important as Jeremy now. Yeah. Oh man. Oh my God. There we go. So it's time to start talking about Captain Marvel. What a great great, great, great way to start this morning. So thank you very much, Chewbacca 0824 the Virgin. Oh my God, here we go. So Captain Marvel, let me show you an image. I'm sorry, you got to look at her droll face. So the Captain Marvel trailer dropped, I believe, last night during Monday Night Football. And as you know, I don't watch sports. I'm not here to rip on sports. So if you're a sports fanatic, awesome, enjoy it. I'm not here to even tell you, maybe you should reassess. No, go have some fucking fun, because life is all about fun. We need to have more fun in our lives. And if you enjoy sports, awesome. That's what you do. I enjoy Blue Palm the Third. But this Captain Marvel trailer dropped yesterday, and my first thought of what was last night was, okay, so this trailer is much, much different than the first, but overall it's nothing special. Now, when I mean nothing special, it's like every other Marvel movie. And you guys always hear me talk about the baseline. When everything is good, nothing is, you know what I'm saying? To me, all the Marvel movies have just kind of reached, I don't know if I'm fatigued of them. I'm not, actually. I'm very excited for Infinity War Chapter 2 because the first one delivered. What it is I'm very, maybe we're all attached to the other characters. The Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch dynamic. We like those characters. We like the team. We're there. We're invested emotionally. We've put in our time. Now, Black Panther was introduced, I thought, very, very well. He showed up on the scene. It made sense for the story of Civil War. I really loved my favorite Black Panther moment he's ever appeared in on film was when Zemo tried to kill himself and he grabs the gun. He's like, the living are not done with you yet. After he realizes that Captain America and Iron Man, or whoever Captain America was going after, or Bucky, he was trying to kill Bucky for killing his father. Once he realized that Bucky wasn't the villain and Zemo wasn't all this shit, he had that character arc and he was redeemed, and I liked him. Therefore, when he was in Infinity War and when he had his own movie, I was more interested in Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel, the trailer, like I said, was This is a review of the trailer, not the film itself, but I can talk about the possible implications moving forward with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Because geek culture is a very weird, and I don't mean that in a pejorative way, a weird place where people are very emotionally attached to things, people are very dedicated to things, but when you mess with the formulas or the things they like, they will be very angry. Now, they won't be angry if you make changes for the sake of a good story, but with today's climate in entertainment, when you make changes for PC points or, trying to look good, that is when people get upset, because if you have a valid reason to why the Falcon would take over for Cap, nobody would complain. People wouldn't go, oh, a Black Captain America would never work. See, I like Anthony Mackie. I thought he was fantastic. Great choice for the Falcon. He's a great actor in other things. I like him. If he were to take over for Captain America in an organic way, I wouldn't feel shortchanged. Conversely, with Spider-Man, shoehorning Miles Morales into the game, into the Spider-Verse, I feel like that is an attempt to push out the past of Spider-Man and make Spider-Man, a half-black kid. And you'd think as a half-black guy, I'd be like, oh man, that's cool. It represents me. No, I like the character. There's a reason why I've been attached to it my whole life. So when people have these criticisms about Captain Marvel, they're not really coming from a place of hatred or anger. They're coming from a place of, well, we've been here before. For example, with Star Wars, everybody has lived through the Star Wars craze. Everybody's lived through the Star Wars depression. We're living in it currently. And for every time you criticize a movie for its lack of merit, you get attacked and you're called a sexist, a racist, a misogynist, all these other things. We know where you go when you push a certain ideal in your geek culture entertainment. And that is why so many people are hesitant with Captain Marvel. Now, to get to the actual trailer and my thoughts, have you noticed that there was a change in tone? There was a smile. There were jokes. It's becoming more Marvel-y. I believe at one point in time, this movie was going to be stern, serious, and different to try to appease the Huffington Post people of the world. And well, the online trailer backlash, and I won't even say backlash, but Smilegate was a thing for about 5 minutes. Those things caught the attention of Marvel because if this trailer has done anything for me, it's not make me more excited for the movie. I was going to go see it for the channel. I've seen every other Marvel movie in theaters. I do. It's something I do. Now, like Ant-Man, will I see it right away? No. I saw Ant-Man like a week and a half later. We never covered Ant-Man on this channel. I guess with Captain Marvel being the hot button issue it is, we'll have to talk about it live. So expect us to do a live review leaving the theater. But that's for March. But the reason there were so many changes in tone in this trailer were because there were reshoots of the film. So they began reshoots way back, well, not way back, but around the 20th of November, there was an article that said Captain Marvel set photos reveal reshoots have begun. And I firmly believe that Captain Marvel was reshot, not the whole movie, nothing crazy like Justice League or anything like that, but I would put a good $1.50 down right now, and I do mean $1.50, not $150. Brie Larson's not worth that to me, but I would put that money down that a lot of the reshoots were seen in the trailer in terms of tone, because there's that shot with her and Samuel L. Jackson on the plane, which would eventually become the Shield, whatever it's called, the Quinjet. Yeah, that's that, right? No. Was Quinjet Justice League? No, let's call it the Quinjet for now. Whatever the Avengers fly around in. I believe that was a reshoot. If you notice the slight smile on her face, the joke, boom. I didn't think we were going to get that before. I also firmly believe the shot with her and Nick Fury in the car was reshot. Maybe not Samuel L. Jackson's parts, but her parts, because she's seen, you can have a stand-in for Samuel L. Jackson and use the original dialogue, ADR it in, do something. But I stand by the fact that they've gone and they've done these things to kind of avoid more fan criticism, because Marvel, if they have this nefarious plot to make her the lead of the MCU for no apparent reason besides, what the internet thinks they want, they don't want that to happen. That'll hurt the box office. That'll hurt Marvel. That'll hurt Avengers. You got to understand, folks, Marvel, Disney owns all this shit. Star Wars is just existing. Marvel's where it's at. I mean, what, $15 billion in 10 years? That's incredible. No other franchise has done that in such a short amount of time. Hell, James Bond's been out for 56 years at this point in the box office or the cinema, and hasn't made that kind of money, even if you adjust inflation and all that stuff. No Marvel movie has flopped yet. No Marvel movie has failed to expand the Avengers storyline, and they can't allow this one to be the first, because we're at the end. They need to have a flawless victory when it comes to the finish line for the trailer. Now, I also noticed that we're going to hear about her backstory and more along those lines. See, they kept it intentionally vague. They tried to make her stoic. They tried to have you hooked on the intrigue of the Captain Marvel trailer, of the Captain Marvel character. But I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot with that first trailer, because a lot of people are very angry about Captain Marvel existing. I personally am not. And remember, my opinion is the official opinion of the channel, not the other guys who appear. Sorry, guys. The movie existing's fine. The way it's going to be marketed is scary, because all of these movies, be it Ghostbusters, the way Star Wars is talked about in the public eye, all of these things, or Wonder Woman, are treated differently. You can't criticize a trailer, you can't criticize a movie without being called these terrible things. And you know what? I criticize Captain Marvel trailer just like I criticize a Shazam trailer or an Aquaman trailer. Just because I critique it and am more impressed with something else doesn't mean I'm attacking her because she's a woman, and it doesn't mean I'm giving DC a pass because I liked Justice League and want the next thing to go. I was genuinely entertained by those other two trailers, and this trailer, not so much. Was it better than the first trailer? Oh yeah. If this trailer would have been the first one to come out, I would have thought, okay, that's fine. It looks a little like Guardians, looks a little like Thor, blah, blah, blah. Fine. You're going to get the jokes, the humor, this and that. Oh, it's a mystery. Who is she? All this crap. Fine. But because of the last, 2 or 3 months, whenever September was, ever since that first trailer dropped, there's been this bubbling concern, not by just me, but by everybody on both sides of the spectrum. Because you got people that want Captain Marvel to represent this bigger thing. Much like Wonder Woman, I think Marvel, here's the weird part. Marvel's been super successful. The first time they're going to take a page out of the DC playbook is going to be with this film. Because say what you want about Wonder Woman, say what you want about the way it was talked about in the media, say the way you want to talk about it was talked about on websites and stuff like that. When it came to the film itself, it kept itself free of any of these SJW narrative. Wonder Woman surprised everybody, and that's why it made a bunch of money, on top of being an iconic, legendary character that has been around for almost 80 years, that has been loved by most people. I mean, even in my lifetime, Wonder Woman was awesome on the Justice League cartoon. You see, we now live in an era where before they threw the women and the men on the team and they just fought. She could take a punch, she could dish out a punch, fine. I didn't grow up in an era where we tried to separate like superhero characters, men from women. Rogue, Storm, Jean Grey, Jubilee, they were all on the team. They got in the fight. Some were more effective, like Rogue and Storm. Some sucked, like Jean Grey. And some were just there, like Jubilee, for, comedic effect. But they were always treated equally. I feel like geek culture has always treated the women equally. We always use Princess Leia as the example. Again, she was one of the 3 leads. She was cool. We all said when she passed away, and she's all a character we love and respect. There's a reason why Princess Leia figures get exclusives at Target and people buy them up in droves, because she's a well-loved, iconic character. It is now the stance of today to try to separate that, the her a hero thing. I get it. It's meant to be a funny play on words. But the more you differentiate and try to separate and elevate Captain Marvel from the other Marvel characters, well, Jeff, that's how they do all the characters when they get a movie or this or that. No, it's not. A lot of times they're like, well, here is Doctor Strange, and learn about the history of Doctor Strange. And then it's like, well, this is going to lead into the Avengers. Cool. This one, it feels like we're going out of their way to appease people that aren't going to watch the movie in the first place. We've learned this from Star Wars. We've learned this from other movies. So with Captain Marvel, that is why the big picture is so important. That is why people are so concerned. That is why people post the trailer, talk about it. It's not because they're angry. It's because of the way society has regressed. Entertainment society has regressed. We're supposed to be at this place where, cool. A woman's the leader of the X-Men. No big deal. A black guy's the leader of the X-Men. No big deal. The thing is, they try to make controversial changes with these characters. They try to make these life-altering or these ground-breaking changes to characters that it's not because of a color or race or creed or creed. What they do is they change established things that people love. I guarantee you, if you made Static Shock the wrong shade of black in the movie, people would complain. I guarantee you, if Black Panther was too light or something dumb like that, people would complain. People like the characters the way they are. They want the characters represented the way they are. They want the classic versions of said character. Now, Captain Marvel, as publicly stated by Marvel themselves, not my opinion, not my take, it's based on the Kelly Sue DeConnick run, which, as all new Marvel stuff, has a certain slant to it. Therefore, again, people do have ammunition to be concerned. Me personally, we'll watch it. We have to. It's a channel job, much like Star Wars Episode 9. Had I not had this channel and Marvel played out the exact same way, this would have been treated like Ant-Man, where if I see it, I see it. Well, I will see it. I just don't know when I will. I'll catch it in theaters. One thing I did notice, too, and I don't know if I've said this on the channel ever. I guarantee I haven't said it recently. Marvel movies are best played with a crowd. I went to see every other Marvel movie on opening night or opening weekend with a packed house, and it was fun. The energy's high. You play off the other members in the audience. You have a great time. I saw Ant-Man at like 11 o'clock on a Wednesday or Tuesday or something like that with like 2 other people. There was no energy. It was nice and comfortable, but because there was no energy, I don't think I was invested. See, Marvel movies are these group event things. You don't get that with Star Wars or other things. Like, I can go watch a Bond movie and be in my own world and have a great time. But Marvel movies, there's jokes, there's certain things. cheering moments. Like, for example, I know people hate when certain people cheer in theaters, but I'll never forget when I saw the Avengers, people cheered when they did the spin shot. They're like, yeah, cool. And then in the movie, they cheered a little bit too, so it kind of amplified. You know, the puny God line, I didn't even know what he said the first screening because people were laughing so hard when the Hulk was beating up Loki. These Marvel movies have traditionally brought people together, and all of those things combined are on people's minds when they look at Captain Marvel, not because of a woman, but because of how everything is presented today. Like Doctor Who fans have felt it, Star Wars fans have felt it. Be prepared to feel it for Marvel fans, is what people are saying and what they want to avoid. Let's see what you guys are saying right now as my squeaky chair goes on and squeaking. So let's see. We got a lot of people in the chat this morning. Good morning to, 400 of you. Can we get 400 thumbs up, by the way? That'd be awesome. I'd really appreciate that as we look at Brie Larson's smug face. Okay, so it's really not a positive response that you guys are having about this movie, but I did see one that says, what's different about this movie from other things? It's not the movie. It's the way it's being treated in the media. That's the concern, because we live in an era where you can't, like, the perfect Marvel female character is the Black Widow. Scarlett Johansson is the highest paid actress in Hollywood. She's a big part of the team. She's very capable. She has a lot to do. She's respected by other members. She can kick ass. She's great, but she's part of the team. We're being told by Kevin Feige constantly, oh, this is going to be the future of Marvel. I don't want it to be the future of Marvel. There's so much time for more Iron Man and Captain America adventures and stuff like that. And in many ways, it feels undeserved. It's like Roman Reigns or John Cena in the WWE. Now, before you click away because you heard WWE, calm down. Those are two wrestlers that were given main event spots at WrestleMania, title runs, all these things, merchandising deals, sponsorships, and the crowd booed them. Why? Because they were put in the spot they are because Vince McMahon wanted it. They didn't naturally get there for the most part, especially with Roman Reigns. He just kind of one day won the title, and boom, he's your main event star. It was too late or too early for these guys. It was undeserved. You look at somebody like CM Punk or The Rock or Stone Cold or these other characters who built themselves up as wrestlers, not in the storyline, but with the fans. Now, I know a lot of people think, well, wrestling's fake. It is fake. It's scripted. It's, predetermined. All that stuff is real about it. But the cheers and the boos come off of performance, how entertained you are, those things. And those guys that I just listed, the latter group, got over organically with the crowd. That's why when The Rock won, 10 world titles, it was cool because he had built himself up over all these years. He wasn't just handed the thing and said, here you go, you're the champion, and the crowd has to accept you. And when they boo, they keep pushing it down your throat. Same thing with Captain Marvel. People have spent 10 years with Iron Man and close to 10 years with Thor, Captain America, and the rest of the group. I mean, shit. Of the Avengers that are still on the team, Iron Man's been there the longest. And then technically Black Widow and Rhodey are there just as long as, almost as long, like 2 years apart. And then to be told after a lackluster trailer that this is the future of the MCU, of course you can be concerned. And of course there's a difference. It's all about, the build. People say, it's not about the build, it's about each individual movie. No, it's not. The Incredible Hulk is inconsequential. For the most part, Iron Man 2 is inconsequential, except for a few moments here and there. Like, we don't talk about Justin Hammer. Iron Man 3 or the PTSD was fine, but by the next Avengers, it's over. You can watch these Avengers movies by themselves, but each other one has to build. It's part of the big story. It's part of they're all cogs in the wheel. Now, for those out there, too, that are discussing the whole who should have played Captain Marvel, I'm not sold on Brie Larson because, honestly, my number one complaint about this trailer is her voice. I don't know. People say, well, it's like Bane's voice. I don't think Tom Hardy's Bane's voice fits the movie or Bane himself. Bane is supposed to be, born in a Mexican prison and raised in this and that. For every criticism I can levy at Captain Marvel, I can put it out there for any other superhero film. It's not about picking on this movie. It's literally holding it to the same standard. It's all about making sure I treat this one the way the next one is treated. Salvador, thank you very much. A cool theory I had where, while still undeserved, she gets the killing stroke on Thanos. But right before she does, she morphs into a Super Skrull and says the rest of the invasion has begun. Okay, well, fuck, I would really like that. But do you think they'd pull the trigger on that? Because Salvador, let's hear this. Okay, so I love the idea of a big scroll or a big thing being the twist, and she's never been whatever. I'd lose it. I'd be like, yeah! Because if the next story arc is the invasion, or not invasion, yeah. It's not called Invasion, is it? I guess it is the Invasion. Sorry, I'm thinking the WWF. I read the book. I even wrote a college paper on how it's comparable to or comparable to the Red Scare of the 1950s and the McCarthy hearings and all that stuff way back in college. It was a fun time. But I wrote that paper. If she is a Skrull, I'll be surprised. The only thing I would say is we will spend a whole movie trying to figure out who Captain Marvel is. A whole movie trying to figure out why she lost her memories, this, that, and the other. Now, personally, I'd love if, you lost my memories. Why? Because, well, Captain Marvel's really dead and you're just a Skrull in her identity. Mind blown. They would do that shit in the comics. I don't think they would do that in the movies based on what this movie is meant to represent in the big picture. But I do love the idea. And that another thing, too. If she beats Thanos, like, really? The new guy? Well, new chick. Really, her? I think it was cool when Thor almost beat him. I would have liked when Iron Man would have beat him. It's all about characters and our attachment to them. And if this is a send-off for the next event, well, then send them off properly and do not go straight up for like, we just push them aside real quick. Logan Michael, thank you very much. MCU fan accounts on Instagram is cringe. Check it out. I don't want to. Oh, Jesus, Streamlabs. Chewbacca fan 0824 The Virgin. Why are you guys afraid of strong women characters? Rey is a better developed character than Luke. I can't wait to see your arc finished in episode 9. And just like that, the Virgin Chewbacca has reared his hairy, ugly head. Oh, I know you're just joking, but it's, we can sit and talk about how great Wonder Woman was and all this other stuff. Well, actually, we can't talk about how great Wonder Woman is because Wonder Woman is no longer cool. You see, this is all part of the big problem. Because over on Twitter, because of two trailers, we're supposed to act like Wonder Woman is no longer relevant. Now, the internet has some dumb websites. Huffington Post is damn near the top. So this article is like 4 sentences, and I'm going to read it real quick, and we're going to talk about this. This is where I want you guys to chime in. It says, the new Captain Marvel trailer will have you wishing it were March. Step aside Wonder Woman. There's a new female hero in town, and she's already to kick ass. Second trailer for Marvel Studios' Captain Marvel starring Brie Larson dropped Monday, and we're wishing it were March. The Marvel film's first-led female adventure action flick with Larson taking the role of Captain Marvel / Carol Danvers. Check out the full trailer above. That's all the article is. But the reason I drew this to your attention is because of some of the comments. I love the comments. This one right here. So Goodnight Gotham says, maybe you should rewatch the movie and learn the message of the film. It's not about deserve. It's about what you believe, and I believe in love. Small moments like this are why Wonder Woman was so highly regarded and why the film will be, it will stand the test of time better than Captain Marvel. Wonder Woman wasn't about an agenda. Captain Marvel is. You're saying, how do you know? Go pay attention to all the stuff that's out there on these websites. Marvel's not above this stuff. It's in their comics every week. It's in all of their, it's in their games. It's in all of this shit. Like in Spider-Man. Oh, I saved the day I saved Mary Jane, but she wants to bitch about, oh, you didn't trust me to fight off the armed guards. You know what, Mary Jane? Have your own video game and see how many people buy it. Let's see. Mary Jane fights the Hand. Mary Jane's not a trained assassin or a trained fighter or a superhero. She would just die. I mean, straight up. Realistically, she's like a supermodel slash actress in the cartoon or the TV show or the movies or the games or whatever traditionally. So you make her a photojournalist. Fine, cool. You change it. Don't like it, but whatever. It fits the story. But then the character complains and complains about that stuff. Marvel, it's in everything Marvel does. And these people are really, really angry about this tweet. It's making me laugh. It's just, you don't need to tear down Wonder Woman for Captain Marvel, because it's a very small way to think. But Wonder Woman kicked ass. Gal Gadot did a great job. I liked her. And Brie Larson, I don't remember Gal Gadot talking about, the white men shouldn't review films. I don't remember any of that from Gal Gadot. I remember her avoiding those kind of conversations and comments publicly. So good for you, Gal Gadot. So we'll see where this is. Now, back to the Skrull talk for a minute. Let's get some comments in. I saw somebody say a Skrull. What if Iron Man's a Skrull? That would be the ultimate twist, especially around... Okay, so if Iron Man is a Skrull, the only way... Oh, okay. The only way it would work is if he became a Skrull in Avengers, when he went through the portal and was replaced with a Skrull. Because after Avengers, everything he does... Well, no, it wouldn't work because of the PTSD. Why would a Skrull have PTSD? That movie would become inconsequential for a future plot twist. I would like to see Iron Man as a Skrull. That'd be kind of cool. But I think at this point, if you listen to some of the dialogue he says in Infinity War, I think he's above being a Skrull. Like, oh, I'm not coming back, this, that, and the other. Unless his mission is, we were going to, the Skrulls want Earth instead of Thanos snapping it out. Maybe. Who could be a Skrull? Not Bucky, nobody with Captain America. I don't foresee Captain America or any of the crew. What if Captain America's a Skrull because he has a beard? Something dumb like that. That's all I can say. That would be my twist. DC and Marvel have crossed over multiple times. Now, not on film, obviously. But if they tried to cross over on film, it would be messy. Why do I say that? Well, it would be Warner Brothers and Marvel and possibly Sony. How do you split rights? How do you do this? How do you do that? Who markets it? Who pays for it? It gets really murky and messy. So we'll never, ever see that on film unless Disney buys it all, which please do not buy it all. Please do not buy it all. The Avengers 4 trailer drops tomorrow on Good Morning America. So for Good Morning Pop Culture tomorrow, we're going to have a normal show. I'm going to have Good Morning America on in the background. And when that trailer drops, I'm going to stop what I'm doing, watch it, and then we're going to have a live reaction on air. So be prepared for that. I hope it's great. I want it to be great. It is, to me, the finale of Marvel. I honestly could stop going. If there's a sense of completion with Avengers Infinity War Chapter 2 or whatever it's called, Avengers 4, if there's a sense of completion, I may stop with the movies. The Pui, thank you very much. Good morning, Jeff, and thank you. Well, thank you, The Pui, for joining us every day here on Good Morning Pop Culture, and thank you for the compliment. Let's see. I wonder who else could be a Skrull. Now you got me thinking, guys. If you haven't read Invasion, it's really fun. You guys want some decent Marvel that's fairly recent? Go back, read Civil War, then read Secret Invasion. That's what it's called. And then go read, what was after that? Siege was pretty good. No, then you got to read Dark Reign, then Siege, and then close it out with AVX. Because that's just fun, and I like it. It may not be great, but I recommend this. But read those comic books online, secondhand. Go to your local comic book shop like Rock and Rooster or Comics Elite. Support those guys because they're good people that do suffer from Marvel's stupid decisions sometimes. But be prepared to find yourself enjoying characters, even like Carol Danvers, who's not terrible in the comic books up until fairly recently. And we got 500 folks. Well, we just had 500 viewers on Good Morning Pop Culture, almost a record. Can we get those thumbs up, please? Banner's a scroll because he's a different actor. I don't know if Doctor Strange is the most powerful in the MCU. He's probably, God, I like those movies so much, but Doctor Strange I would put towards my, like, if I have to break them down from favorite to least favorite, Doctor Strange is close to the middle. A fine film, but at the end of the day, I don't own it on Blu-ray, and I've never watched it since I saw it in the theater. So, sorry, Doctor Strange, I'm not really feeling you, bro. So Captain Marvel, what else do I want to say about the trailer? I really want to hear what you guys think. I'm hearing a lot of the same stuff, but I really want to hear more about your thoughts on the trailer. Again, from a trailer standpoint, visually it's fine. I saw somebody freak out in the comments section. Oh my God, when she flies, it's the greatest Marvel moment ever. It looked fine, but it honestly looked like Iron Man fighting off the Chitauri in the first Avengers film. Maybe we're spoiled and they can't really out-spectacle these anymore. You have to have like a big moment with a lot of gravitas, like Thanos winning. That caught a lot of people off guard. And I don't know if it's bellicose music is the right way you would describe it, but when like Thanos wins and that horn's like, and you're like, oh my God, it's over. They lost. And then everyone fades away. Awesome twist. Again, with Ant-Man, I felt Ant-Man was useless. Ant-Man 2 and the Wasp was almost useless until we got to the very end post-credit sequence. And then I'm like, yeah, now the movie's picking up. And again, I feel like Captain Marvel. Now, could that be an effect of a really awesome movie and that the other two aren't that bad and they just suffer? Who knows? But again, based on personal opinion, my lack of interest in Ant-Man and the Wasp comes from basically just being blown out of the water by the previous film. Grendel Fan 84, thank you very much. I highly recommend Dark Avengers by Brian Michael Bendis and Mike Deodato, arguably one of Bendis' greatest works. I loved that story quite a bit. So for those out there who don't know, Norman Osborn, he doesn't become president. Is he president? No, but Norman Osborn basically has a secret team of Dark Avengers. So the public thinks they're the real Avengers. So instead of Spider-Man, it looks like Spider-Man in the suit, but it's actually Mac Gargan Venom. They think it's Wolverine, but it's actually his son Daken. Iron Man is actually Norman Osborn. He's got the Iron Patriot armor. That one that you saw Rhodey wear in Iron Man 3 is actually Norman Osborn in the comic books. And then, Bullseye is Hawkeye. And it's crazy. Like the public, like I said, the public thinks they're the Avengers, but in reality, they're subservient to Norman Osborn and his nefarious plans. It is awesome. That is why people like me or other channels out there are like, man, Marvel comics suck these days, because just a few short years ago, there were awesome stories coming out all the time. There was a point in time where I could go to the store and drop $50 a week, and I would gladly do it, even though I didn't have much money, because the books were that fun. Even the small books like Hulk Versus, I bought all those. Just small little things like that really hooked me, and I want to have that fun back. And people say, well, maybe you've changed and not Marvel. No. Normally I could see that. Like, I'm trying to think of something that I used to love and I've changed. I'm honestly looking around. Like the things I love, Star Wars has changed. Comics have changed. Gaming's a good example. People like PUBG and Fortnite and all these big first-person shooters and stuff. They're not for me. So that's the argument I'll make there. Super Saiyan ripoff, Jesus. Yeah, folks, hit that thumbs up button. We got 500 viewers almost and only 200 likes. Come on now. Come on. Let's see. I used to be cool. Well, when you hit 30, you stop giving a shit. my knees creak, my back aches. I got a Social Security check in the mail, and I bought a pack of Depends. No, no. The world of geek culture is the thing that changes all the time, and it's you know, it's good yet bad at the same time. The good shit gets pushed out for the sake of bad stuff. Why can't we keep the good and introduce new, equally good stuff? And at the same time, it's like Star Wars. Why do we have to ruin the great characters to elevate the bad characters? Luke Skywalker was ruined. Why couldn't Luke be awesome and then introduce a lady Jedi that kicks ass? Nobody bitched about Ahsoka. Nobody bitched about any of the other ones before. We didn't have to watch Obi-Wan Kenobi suck to make Luminara Unduli awesome, or Shakti, or any of those Jedi. Kevathar1138, thank you very much. Enthused with the trailer right up until Fury and the Cat. You know, it's funny, Kevathar1138. I actually kind of thought the trailer or the cat part was funny because I think the cat's a Skrull. I honestly think somebody's like, well, that's how Nick Fury's going to lose his eye. He did say about trusting somebody once, and I lost my good eye. I think that was the line from Civil War. For me personally, I don't ever want to know how Nick Fury lost his eye. As a watcher of films, as somebody who likes a good story, not having everything laid out in front of you is good. Now, there are times where certain things need to happen. Like, for example, Maz Kanata and Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. That's a story for another time. Because you told me it's a story for another time, and then we're never going to get it, I have a problem. But Nick Fury goes, let me tell you about my eye. No, he doesn't say that shit. What does Nick Fury talk about? He talks about his grandfather and his gun and his bagged lunch and all that stuff, and people get shittier. Nice little things like that. If Nick Fury loses his eye because it gets scratched out by a Skrull cat, I don't know how I'm going to feel about it. I'm going to say it doesn't happen. The only reason I say this is because of, well, no, that's not true. Because the action figure that came out shows a young Nick Fury with both eyes, but they'll probably release a secondary head with an eye patch. So that's my guess. I'm taking that back. But Kevathar1138, it's cool that somebody in this community, isn't too angry. Like I said, I wasn't angry with this trailer, and I wasn't deflated. The first trailer sucked. Like, honestly, I thought that was one of the dumbest Marvel trailers ever. The blockbuster joke didn't hit. The funny thing is, they want to show something like that, so they hit you up with this joke, and then everything else is just so stern and serious. Now, this one, again, feels like a reaction to what came before it. And I want to be happy about that, because Marvel listens. Star Wars doesn't. We can talk about doubling down and this and that. Marvel Comics doubles down. Just when you thought it couldn't get any dumber, it gets dumber. Marvel movies are the bread and butter of Disney Studios right now. I know people say, well, The Lion King's going to make $1 billion and this and that. They're going to make money. But how many little kids want Lion King figures? They're not that cool. I remember they had them back in the 90s. Didn't really want it. But everybody wants a Spider-Man figure. Everybody likes Iron Man. Those characters lend themselves to marketing. That's one thing that Stan Lee was not really credited for. Well, not really credited for, but mentioned when he passed away. Everyone's like, he created Spider-Man. He did this, he did that. Razor Fist had a fantastic video about it, and he made an excellent point that Stan Lee was one of the first people out there that saw the licensing possibilities of the characters they owned. There were Superman merchandise in the 40s. Obviously, there's like a Superman play suit and like a doll maybe, but there weren't really like action figures regularly or readily available for like Batman up until the Migos. I don't even think there was a Batman 66 doll. Like at the time, there wasn't an Atom. There may have been like a plastic figurine or trading cards or little metal people, but there wasn't an actual movable, posable figure. Marvel had those little bitty figurines that were just like a solid colored plastic fairly early on. They had stickers. They had these inflatable pillows with comic book panels. The reason I'm telling you this, though, is that these Marvel movies lend themselves to massive amounts of merchandise if they shit the bed and they turn people off. Like our friend American Trent 007, great dude, listens to the show every day, loves the Marvel movies, buys every single Marvel Legends, Marvel Studios edition, paid full price, had to have them, was invested. If you turn somebody like that off, even though Trent may have spent $200 on action figures, there are other people out there that feel the same way. And believe me, as somebody who used to collect stuff regularly, you can do something as a company to turn me off, and I go, this collection's not really worth completing anymore. Honestly, it's very easy. They don't want to really cut that revenue stream out because maybe that's more lucrative than just the box office. We see the box office, oh, $2 billion. That's great. What percentage went to studios? What percentage went to theater chains? You got to take in the budget, this, that, and the other. The actors' payment. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. gets what, 10% of what these movies make? Or 5% or something. And rightfully so. He made a deal. He worked his ass off. Good for him. I don't get pissed off if Robert Downey Jr. makes more money than the entire state of Mississippi off one movie. Good for him. Thunder Robots, thank you very, very much. Infinity War left Iron Man in position to be replaced by the Skrulls. Oh, because he's on Titan? Yeah, I've always wondered how he's going to get off Titan. That's one of my... You see, before Civil War, or maybe it was before Infinity War. Maybe it was Civil War. It was Civil War. I was really focused on how are Bucky and Falcon going to get along, because Falcon's like Cap's current best friend and Bucky's like his brother, longtime thing. You know, I'm wondering how that's going to happen. Little things like that are really important to me. With the Marvel movies now, how Iron Man gets off Titan is very important to me. I'm genuinely intrigued by that answer. People say Nebula's ship, probably going to be a basic answer like that, but that would be kind of cool if Iron Man was. But here's one thing. The nanotechnology in his biosignals, if he's replaced, wouldn't his armor fail? Because his armor didn't fail in Infinity War. Unless the whole movie is Robert Downey Jr. not in an Iron Man suit, could I possibly believe he's a Skrull? Now, here's the thing. When I say these things, I'm not trying to shoot down your idea of who's a Skrull. Are there Skrulls in the movie? I want there to be like a big twist. Because, like I said yesterday, the show is awesome. I love doing it. But before the show, one of the happiest things for me would be going to see these Marvel movies. Big theater, big group of people, lots of fun. I want this to continue. I want to be able to be 45 years old saying, shit, the 60-second Marvel movie was damn good, and I still haven't been disappointed. Like, I want those things. So a continuation of the Skrulls, that feels like the next natural organic step. So, Thunder Robot, when I am playing around with your possibility of this a Skrull, that a Skrull not happening, believe me, I'm not shooting down your idea because I dislike it. I want there to be some reason where you leave. Like, for example, okay, I don't like BVS, but remember how at the end of the movie or whatever, when Superman's casket, the dirt raised off of it and it ended? Imagine if Captain America had died on the battlefield, and after the post-credit sequence is like a shot of his body, and like they're going to do, oh, here we go. They bury him. There's this big funeral. Then there's an autopsy. The government, General Ross, has taken Captain America's body because they want to extract DNA. And as they start to cut it, it turns green and shrivels up, and his chin turns to the shape of Thanos's, and boom, there we go. He's a fucking Skrull. And people are like, oh my God, Captain America's not dead. And there you go. You got the MCU for another 5 years. That's me booking it. That's my fan booking of Infinity War, the ending, Chapter 2. It could be, and it should be Captain America, because why else would they dig up his body? You wouldn't dig up Stark's body. He's just a normal guy who's really smart. You're not going to harvest his brain. This isn't Arnim Zola. But Captain America, with the super serum, it makes sense why they would do that to him. So that would be so much fun. Demogeni, thank you very much. Good morning, brother. Yeah, I have something cooking for this CM trailer when I get off work. Well, I think my biggest statement I want to make is do not be afraid to discuss this trailer honestly. If you're not pleased, don't worry about it. If you are pleased, don't be afraid to say so. This community is built on entertainment. And if you're entertained, if you're not entertained, here's the thing. You can have a differing opinion every day of the week. You're still welcome here. I don't expect all 514 viewers to say, I agree with Jeff, and that's the only thing I think. No, have a differing opinion. But just know and have the same respect for us to have a different opinion of yours too. Salvador, thank you very much. I'm not what you think I am. You're not from around here. It's complicated and memory loss. All the clues are there. Oh, for Captain Marvel as the Skrull. Well, the sign of a decent trailer is the fact that, you don't know the context of certain things. Like Salvador, again, like I said with Thunder Robots. I would like your theory to be real. I don't want just one Skrull, maybe two. You can't have the Vision be a Skrull because one, he's dead, or we don't know how the time travel works. But he's not. He was created, and he's a robot, sentient being, Infinity Stone. A Skrull couldn't replicate an Infinity Stone. That's just not in the comics, or that's just not in the cards. We'll see, Salvador. Like, seriously, dude, I want... You know what we should do coming up? We should have an Avengers speculation stream for the fans. You know, patrons, fans, whatever. We'll give a couple spots out, and you guys can come up with your best Skrull theory. You could come on the channel and discuss it with me. Press 1 if you would be interested in listening or being a part of that, because I think that could be a lot of fun. You know, we'll treat it like a line or something. What, remember that old... Oh, I wasn't even alive, but has anyone seen Watchmen? If you've seen Watchmen, remember the old guy on the news with the glasses that talks about, you know, minutes to midnight on the clock? That guy used to be on a nighttime talk show back in the 80s. We get that guy. We act like that guy. I act like that guy. And we make it happen. Avengers 4 leak. What leak are we talking about? I've seen all those photos of I've seen the continuity photos, like of Brie Larson, Scarlett Johansson. And man, Scarlett Johansson looks really good in that photo. But that's a topic for another day. But I've seen the leaks. I've seen the toy leaks. I don't know any of the plot leaks. I'm going to wait for the trailer. And to be fair, certain things like this, you know, Star Wars spoilers, Marvel spoilers, they don't bother me per se. Hell, even James Bond spoilers, because a lot of these movies are very formulaic at the end of the day. Again, there's a spoiler for Dunkirk. It's called History. We knew how it would end, but we're still intrigued by the movie. So sometimes, you know, spoilers aren't that bad, but I haven't seen any of the leaks. We're Skrulls. Okay, cool. If I'm a Skrull, awesome. Now remember, in the Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic turns whatchamacallit into a Skrull, or he turns a Skrull into a cow, and then I think somebody eats it later on. So there we go. Aces, you have the comment about Kevin Feige says the MCU be female. Kevin Feige, thoughts? Having female heroes is great. It adds something different to the team. But when you have the female heroes that are just like the dudes, what's the purpose? What's the difference? You get what I'm saying, guys? Like, Rogue is compelling. She's stronger than the other X-Men. She can fly, but she can't have that human touch that she desires. And she can't have love and a romance and all that stuff. That's compelling and interesting. Prior to this trailer, I felt like Captain Marvel was meant to be stern, stone-faced, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, Rambo cries. Shit. Rambo has more depth than people give him credit. You know, Stallone is a lot smarter than people give him credit for. I'll give him the credit, but we're not talking about Stallone right now. Sorry. Schwarzenegger in... I like... Schwarzenegger in Red Heat. Just generic stone-faced hero. No emotion whatsoever. No depth. That is why I think people were concerned, too, with her. There you go. Grendelfan84, thank you very much. It still doesn't help that Brie Larson is showing as much emotional range as the Terminator, or in this case, the LGBT 1000. That might be our finest moment on the channel, the LGBT 1000. I don't know if I told you guys this, but when that episode went live, I listened to the opening about 20 times. I just loved it so much. How we had the Terminator music and then this and that. Fun show. That's what my favorite part about this channel is, the fun with everybody here. My friends, you guys, I love it. But again, these are all valid concerns, and I want to just push that out there. Do not feel intimidated to voice your concerns. Okay, so looking, we got some ones for the Skrull thing. Mostly ones. We got an 8, so Kendo wants it 10 times more than everybody because my math is great off the top of my head. Liquor Jim, thank you very much. Favorite part of the Captain Marvel trailer 2 was her scolding and talking down to Fury. That'll really dispel the disappointed stepmom perception. I'm just waiting for someone to say, oh, she's talking down to the black guy, blah, blah, blah. Because last time was Nick Fury has more words than her. Samuel L. Jackson's one of the biggest stars of all time. Brie Larson, no, not even in a discussion. We can talk about failed actors that used to be bigger, like Mickey Rourke. It's a bigger deal, or at least at one point was, than Brie Larson has been yet. Now, if she blows me away, let me put this out there to be honest too. If this movie blows me away, and it's great, and I love it. Okay, fine. Like I said, with this channel, with everything I present to you fine people out there, I'm not afraid to tell honestly how I feel about it. It's just how it's going to be. So be prepared for an honest assessment of the film, no matter what. If I'm blown away, like that was great, well, you're going to have to hear about it. If it sucks ass, you're going to hear about it equally too. So, Liquor Jim, there's just something unlikable about her. It's weird though too, because her voice is so high pitched and whatever, but her face is like her voice says, but her expression says, gruff. Like I'm waiting for her to chew on a cigar or something. She loves it when a plan comes together. Oh, there's a leak about the ending of Infinity War. Leak of the opening. No, I haven't. I haven't heard about it. Mark C, thank you very much. The need to be feet, or there needs to be 3 Skrulls so they can get stuck as cows at the movie's end. Well, you understand the reference. Well, you would understand the reference with your thing icon. So yeah, what the Skrulls debuted, what Fantastic Four early on, not number 2. Is it number 2? But Skrulls are kind of cool because they show up when you least expect them. It's not Deus Ex Machina, but they're the kind of plot point or not plot armor. They're a plot device. There we go. That can be used to basically get yourself out of a situation. Like you can put yourself down this path for so long, and then you're like, shit, it's irredeemable. Oh no, it's just a Skrull, and then the real hero comes back in. That's the beauty of the Skrull characters. But we'll see. I will laugh my ass off if after the end trailer or whatever, or the end credit sequence, there are Skrulls as cows. I will applaud, and like 4 people will get it. Jeremy is a Skrull, and the army's trying to stop him. Okay, so Corin Horn, thank you very much. This is most likely going to be the first MCU movie to lose money. Ooh, okay, that's an interesting comment. So let's, first off, let's talk about that. What if? Let's play the what if game. What if this is the first movie to lose money? I don't think Marvel will be hurt that much. Let's look at it. Their risks are very calculated. People would say, they took risks by putting Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury. Well, for many people out there, they took risks by introducing like Ultimate elements, 616 elements, certain things like that. They've taken smaller risks. They're very calculated risks. They took other financial risks, back-end deal, selling this, doing that. But overall, they were the risks were limited in terms of the overarching story to get to the Avengers. They knew that once they got to that, they were either safe or they were fucked. Well, they thankfully played it safe, or they got there safe. The way they are now is Avengers is their big brand. Yes, Marvel is the overarching brand, but the Avengers, which is funny, 20 years ago, the Avengers were a third-rate team. 10 years ago, their name started to come up a little more because Iron Man had come out and the Hulk had come out. Avengers Initiative, Avengers this. Oh my God, what's the Avengers going to be like? We were talking about it. But if you were a fan of comics in the 90s, you had X-Men at the top. You had every other X-Team, X-Force, X-Factor, Excalibur, all of them. Fantastic Four, Justice League, Batman family, all these other fucking characters and groups. And then the Avengers. The Avengers were very much a B-list team, not even a B-list team, but in terms of sales, in terms of popularity, Avengers wasn't a thing. You had that third-rate Avengers cartoon come out in like 1999. They didn't really have Iron Man or Captain America. They were like, well, those other characters, which they were trying to market, to have their own shows, their own things. These characters weren't anything, honestly, in the public eye. They existed, people knew them, but they weren't what they are now up until the MCU came out. So with the Avengers brand being as strong as it is, I think Marvel took a calculated risk. They could either bet on how people, you could say, well, we're banking on sexists not coming out to see the movie. Well, what about the people that are just unhappy? My point is, Captain Marvel can flop, but Avengers will make its money. Now, if Captain Marvel is offensively bad and the people. We could have another Solo situation, not in terms of it would be a flop, but we could see a hit at the box office, more like a Last Jedi situation. Let me rephrase that. Force Awakens made 2 point whatever billion dollars. Infinity War made that much money, but The Last Jedi lost $750 million in comparison, be it through bad word of mouth or the reaction, this, that, and the other, how people were treated. If Marvel gets on this bashing bandwagon and they start going after listeners, if they start, or not listeners, viewers and readers and all these things like they do straight up at the comic books, the publishing brand of Marvel, the publishing arm, excuse me, they're going to see a hit. If Captain Marvel comes out, it doesn't deliver, but Marvel stays quiet about the fans, and they go and Brie Larson too, because if she runs her mouth, she can turn a lot of people off because she's a big part of Infinity War. And we got to see the trailer, we got to see the poster, we got to see how prominently she's going to be placed. Because be honest with yourselves, the Avengers, Disney, or Marvel as a whole is really just Robert Downey Jr., and everyone else is kind of riding on his back. The dude's got charisma for days. Even I'm a little envious of the charisma he's got. Even The Rock can't really match Robert Downey Jr. on his best day. Let's be honest. He gets it. He knows how to play the game. And on top of it, he's a fantastic actor. We have to see where she plays into this and all this other stuff. If she's very intertwined in the Avengers Part 4, if she is really the crux of this whole movie and she underdelivers in her own film, expect Avengers to be hurt. But if she's getting her own film and then it's and realistically it's all about Iron Man and the rest of the crew and their sign off, then people are going to go see the movie and it's going to be fine and it's not going to get hurt. But if it loses money, Disney won't really give a shit. They're going to have Avengers like 60 days later, and that is what they care about. That is their end game. This movie could disappear from existence, and Disney's still going to make a bunch of money off their Marvel properties. So that is what I have to say about all that stuff. A Slayer named Buffy, thank you very much. I can't take Bree's man-hating stare any longer. I have to scamper away. Look forward to High Council. The cat gag is all weak male sidekicks. Oh, okay. Well, I know I'm tired of looking at her too. Since enough people ask, there we go. We'll take it off. I hope you guys are happy. That's all I can say. Let's see. Kurt Russell should have been Nick Fury, says Mark C in a super chat. Thank you very much. Well, here's the thing about Nick Fury. I think a lot of people don't understand. And I'm not attacking you, Mark C. You understand this. And yes, Kurt Russell should have been Nick Fury. Talk about gravity. Here's the thing, though. Kurt Russell, Samuel Jackson, same level of actor. A-list at one point in their career. Samuel Jackson's technically the highest grossing actor of all time because they do this article. It used to be Harrison Ford, but it's now Samuel Jackson. Based on the movies he's appeared in, he's been in like 50,000 movies. On top of that, now he's in these Marvel movies that make billions of dollars. He can't be matched in terms of his box office, what is attached to Samuel Jackson. But just to put this out there, they didn't make Nick Fury black for the movies. Nick Fury in the Ultimate comic books was based off Samuel L. Jackson. They didn't ask him. They said, if we ever make a movie, we'll put you in it. So he agreed, and that's why when they adapted the movies, they picked Ultimate Nick Fury. One, it's Samuel L. Jackson, and two, it's in the comic books. So that's why no one ever really complains about Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. It's not like they made him black and gave him an eye patch for movie's sake, like when Batman wore all black leather or something like that for the movie to make it look cool on film. It was an established thing. For example, Iron Man is adapted from this Adi Granoff Iron Man Extremis. His design looks just like that. So they just pick and choose what they adapt. And Kurt Russell would have been awesome. But then again, we did get Kurt Russell as Star-Lord's dad, and he was awesome. And that moment where Star-Lord realizes that, what's his name? Ego gave his mom cancer. Oh my God. As somebody that loves their mom, I was just like, what? That's why I like Guardians too. People like one for the cutesiness and this and that and the fucking dancing. I'm not all grimdark, but I do enjoy the level of seriousness, the weight of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Way more. I don't really need to watch one ever again. It's a fine movie. It's good. It's fun. I'm glad it exists. I'm glad I've seen it 2 or 3 times. But man, 2 is a lot stronger of a film. And I think that's what a Captain Marvel needs, or a Doctor Strange sequel or something like that. You need a big emotional gut punch, like Yondu. Holy shit, that part was awesome when the was it the Reavers or whatever gave him the fireworks send off and all these things. I was really really happy with that. I want more of that. I just want to be entertained. That's all I can say. Pagan God X, thank you very much. This isn't an MCU movie. It's a documentary. All SJWs are secretly Skrulls. Somehow Marvel has managed to warn us. But Brie Larson? Really, bro? Really? Blah. I guess they're going by who's available, who wants to be in the movie, who is of a certain Oscar caliber, or who's cheap. I don't know what Brie Larson's price tag is. I'll tell you this, when we make our movies, Brie Larson will not be tapped to play, I don't know, anybody. But look, she's not the world's worst actress. I liked Kong Skull Island. I love 21 Jump Street. I mean, when you say, oh, Brie Larson, I go, oh, 21 Jump Street, she's so fun in that movie. But then you hear about the real person. It's like the Wizard of Oz. You know, you see the big, great, and powerful Oz face, but then you move the curtain back, and it's just a little old, weak man. And you're disappointed, you're deflated, you have a different opinion or a different perspective of that. So that is how I feel about Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. I had one perception of her, and the more you learn about the real Brie Larson, it's kind of disappointing. But I don't know why they chose her. We don't know. We'll have to find out. This is all discussion about the trailer, what ifs, hypotheticals, where Marvel's going as a brand. Is it down the toilet? Find out in 4 months, in a couple days. But I don't think they're going to have a repeat of Black Panther. Black Panther has a few advantages. First off, they did play up the whole February thing. Secondly, the character has existed since the 1960s. So what? He's about 50 years old at this point. Black Panther had been an Avenger in the comics. He was a part of not a part of the Fantastic Four, but a part of Fantastic Four books. T'Challa has had his own book. Black Panther was maybe a third-rate Marvel character for a while, but he still sold. He still had his own book. He was a part of it, and he's always been pretty consistent. Yeah, nowadays the books aren't as good as they used to be because you got to get these writers that are trying to put a message about today's America in the book, Black America. But look, he's a fictional character from a fictional African country, and he's royalty. I understand you want to make him sympathetic to the plight of whatever, but that is my biggest complaint with a lot of these movies. It's like, look, it's not about, America's problems. He's a king in Africa. He should do what's best for his country. Maybe he comes off as an asshole to American people, but it would be true to his people and to preserve Wakanda. And there's a lot going on with that movie that people don't talk about. They want to just get excited about the first Black Marvel superhero. And I'm like, guys, Blade, 1998, awesome movie. So we are, Jesus, it's already 9 o'clock. Where does the time go? That's all I can say. Time flies when you're having good morning pop culture. So I'd like to, again, thank everybody for joining. We got 525 viewers. Let's get 525 thumbs up. Let's make that happen. So, I like the movie Coming to America as well. I consider it the Black Panther prequel. I got it on my shelf on Blu-ray. Now, Black Panther's an okay movie. Coming to America is a fantastic movie. I love it. 10 out of 10. Eddie Murphy's. It's the third best film of 1988. Die Hard, Beetlejuice, Coming to America. There, I said it. Haha. So, good morning to everybody that's just joining us. It's time to talk about Star Wars again. It is the topic that never ends, and it'll go on and on, my friends. But yesterday, we showed a $16,000 Star Destroyer. The reason I've been showing these is because of the misconception that Star Wars is a child's franchise. Even George Lucas himself misspeaks and says, well, it's a kid's franchise. Star Wars isn't a kid's franchise. It started out as a franchise for everybody that was marketed to children, and now they market it to adults. But you want to act like it's straight up for kids. So today, I have another piece of merchandise for all of you out there to check out. That is, it's too expensive for kids. Plus, I don't know why a child would want this. I don't even know why. I guess I should lump super Disney hardcore defenders with the kids because they don't really like Star Wars because it's Star Wars. They like it because it's popular and they want to get in on the internet drama. But look at this right here. This Empire Strikes Back crew coat. Now, it's a nice coat. It's made by Columbia. It's going to carry a premium price. Maybe some Fairweather fan could find it appealing because it looks good. But I doubt that you'd be willing to pay the $500 price tag for it. So I show this to you not to talk about, oh, it's a terribly expensive coat. No, I get it. Shit's expensive. It represents something bigger with Star Wars. For every time Disney and these writers on Twitter and all these people say it's not for you, it's for kids, it's for this or that, and they use that as an excuse to not put effort in or, oh, kill the past. Let the past die, kill if you have to shit. It's shit like this that goes to show you that while they'll tell you one thing, they will want to sell you, the fans, the adult collectors, that small, angry, toxic minority. They want your money the most. They need it the most. So remember, folks, when it comes to Star Wars, you hold all the power. Power of the Force is insignificant next to the power of the consumer dollar. So speak with your wallets. If you like this coat, cool. But let's be honest. Outside of being nostalgic for The Empire Strikes Back, what does a $500 Columbia jacket with a Star Wars patch really do for you? For me, nothing. It's cool. I don't live in a climate where I would need a parka, and I already own one, a Nautica one, kind of cool. Too big for me. So if you're like superfan Adam Shawhan and you've met me, I'm a very large person, very tall, giant dude. This coat that I own is too big for me. So imagine that coat. But I digress. Mark C., thank you very much. Black Panther has been super cool since the first George Perez Avengers run. So what is that? 1970 something, right? Because Perez was really a heavy hitter at Marvel or DC in the 80s with Teen Titans and Wonder Woman and all those books, Crisis on Infinite Earths. That's why when I talk about Black Panther as a character, I do have respect for what Jack Kirby and Stan Lee created in 1968. I don't really know the exact date. I don't know the issue number. I have respect for him. He's all right. I own 2 Black Panther action figures. That's about as far as my interest in the character goes. Jeff, you own Black Panther toys? Yeah. I got a Civil War figure because when they came out, they were super expensive on the secondary market. So I picked one up at a half-price bookstore for $6. And then I bought the comic book version because I'm working on an Avengers setup for when I move in my office. I want all the Avengers comic book form. So for those looking here, yeah, it's a cool coat. It is pricey. It's nice. But do you get what I'm saying? Like, I'll just say it one more time so it makes sense why you're like, why am I looking at a coat on a morning show? The whole point I'm trying to make is every time they try to excuse garbage from Star Wars and Disney and Lucasfilm, remember, they know it's for you. They know you're the core audience. They know they need to keep Star Wars at a certain level, but they refuse to because of an agenda. So remember, folks, we're winning this war. We can completely win it. All you got to do is let them know who holds the power and vote with your wallet. We talked about it yesterday with Star Wars toys. New characters just aren't selling. That's why they're clearanced. Old characters, can't keep them in stock. Has anyone seen the new Bespin Han Solo Black Series in the store? I haven't. People bought it up. So it's an interesting time to be a fan, to be a consumer. I don't know where it's made, but it is a genuine Columbia jacket. Let's see. Some items on the Star Wars on the Disney website cost over $1,000. Yes, they do. I guess Disney should say, well, Star Wars is for the kid and all of us. Well, remember though, it may be for the kid and all of us, but we do expect a certain level of quality. For example, when I was 3 or 4, I loved Inspector Gadget. They have a high-end Inspector Gadget coming out. Maybe it'll make me feel happy to own it, but I expect the same level of quality as all other high-end action figures. So you see where the balance is? If you're going to charge a premium, offer a premium product. Kendo, we can make parkas if you want. I know a guy, Nick. He knows everybody. So let's see what else we want to talk about on Good Morning Pop Culture. Press 1 if anyone's excited for Smash Brothers. Personally, I am. I know we're not a gaming channel. We're not switching gears. After I get off today's show, I'm going to work on my Star Wars single release video that I've been dying to make. I just spent yesterday trying to set up Streamlabs and all these things, which I didn't get right. So I need to do some tests. So if you see some random streams, give us a break. Actually, do us a favor. Check it out. I've been... So I got a couple cool things lined up. I want to tell you about them, but I'm going to make you wait. We'll put it like that. I'll let you guys find them out by surprise. I got some fun things. I'm trying to figure out... No, I'm not... Kendo, I'll tell you in person. You're my buddy. So, movies that won't come out today. You know what, Kenny Powers? I know sometimes you're a little sassy in the chat. I love to have you. You know why? Because you give me good ideas. I'm going to do... Let's see. You may have either given me an idea for a new series or part of the Culture War series I'm working on. So Kenny Powers, you get a quick shout out, bro. I know it's not your real name, because if Danny McBride listened to this show, he probably would stop, because shit we talk about. But I do love Eastbound and Down. I thought that was a great show. I couldn't watch it enough when it first came out. My God, it was funny. Let's see. Got Friday off. Can't wait, says Alpha Terranima. I can't wait either. Now, folks, it'll be here on the YouTube channel. I'm learning how to stream through this Elgato device, so we'll have all the stream lined up, and it'll be like this, except you'll be able to watch the game. You know, I want to make the channel better at all times, and I want to streamline the streaming so I can have the technology take care of the work. I can focus on the videos and stuff like that. It's a balancing act, and I'm all about that shit. I actually had an idea for a parody SJW comic. I've actually written it. I have a great villain. I don't want to tell it out loud because I don't want somebody to take it, but I've written it down. I've drawn part of it. I have the designs done, and actually I have the first page I'm working on. The thing is, when I wasn't doing Stealing Solo, I would draw every day to practice, to warm up, to study anatomy or hair or dumb little things. I'd spend like 6 hours on it, and then I have to do other stuff, so I'd stop. So I never got a lot of projects done. Now that I have a genuine project that I'm working on, like Stealing Solo, I'm able to use those skills, but get down to work. And our buddy Rue just made a really excellent point about why certain things are. I was telling Nick and Kendo about the comic, and I'll show it to him early, and he goes, people don't want to know how the sausage is made. They just want to eat the sausage. So I thought that was a really excellent point he made. And it really put the production of this comic into perspective, because I was feeling a little nervous. I was like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. But now I'm feeling really relaxed. Because I'm relaxed, I'm able to produce better pages. So Rugis, if you're out there, bro, thank you very much. But I do have the an idea for a comic like that. And I didn't want to lead with that. I thought, let you guys check out Stealing Solo, and I got another one. Maybe I'll put it like this: if the next comic book can raise more than Stealing Solo, and it can reach a stretch goal of a new issue, if it can reach a certain stretch goal, I will produce anthology, and that way I can tell the story of so and so versus so and so, because I don't think it really has a lifespan of like 50 issues. Like Cyberfrog can just do, never-ending stories. It's a superhero. My character is a superhero, but the villains are, where they shine, but they're kind of one and done villains. Like in the Batman movies, he kills them and it's over. I'm not saying my hero kills the villains, but they have a lifespan, a shelf life, and I don't want to overextend it. Scrolls with attitudes. I'd wear that on a t-shirt. What planet are they from? The name of that thing should be straight out of whatever planet they live on. Tim Cook is a scroll. Sexism is a scroll. I dig it. I dig all of it. Mary Poppins is a scroll. Who is a scroll? I think of everyone on the High Council. Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers is a scroll, because he's always coming at you with another video. I'm a scroll. Oh, I'm a scroll. Oh, there. You see, he says it every time. We just don't catch it because we're looking at his hat. That's why he wears the hat, because he wears a skin mask with like some furry hair, because it has to cover the giant ears. That's how scrolls work. I bet you didn't know that. Let's see. Punch a Granny. My mother is a Skrull. Yes, she is. And you will hold your goddamn tongue. The Jer Army are all Skrulls. I like that one too. Straight out of Crawl. There we go. I guess that's the name of the planet. Skrull Jeremy was born. Where is Skrull Jeremy? I'm waiting for him. I'll be laughing my ass off. Ryan Johnson is a Skrull. You have to be a Skrull to fuck up Star Wars. If somebody told me he was a shapeshifter from another planet, I'd believe it. Because that dude does not know how to human. Like, do you even human, bro? He doesn't know how to talk to people. He gets really angry over stupid stuff. He's either like a child in a man's body. It's not a man's body. It's like a slightly overdeveloped. He's a little kid with a beard. That's all Ryan Johnson is. Like, he wants to call us man babies. You are literally a man baby. Like, when people superimpose his head onto a toddler's body, it looks normal because that's how he's just a little guy. A little bitty beard. He can't even man. Mark C., thank you very much. If Captain Marvel is doing the Kree, I want the Supreme Intelligence. Mark C., you clearly have read more Captain Marvel, Kree, Intergalactic Marvel Space comics than I have. I'd have to actually look into the Supreme Intelligence. My interest in 70s, I guess it was a Jim Starlin era stuff. All right, was Jim Starlin working on the Captain Marvel book? I know there was the death of Captain Marvel. He got cancer and died, and that was a big deal. Sorry, I'm reading the Man Bear Pig comment. I want people to make these movies that are passionate. If there are female directors like a Patty Jenkins who is passionate about Wonder Woman, please, Patty Jenkins of the world, make that film. But I don't want people hired for points to look good. It's like, oh, we had a black director on Black Panther. That's fine. Black directors can make great movies. White directors can make great movies with black casts there too. Look at all the great Eddie Murphy movies. John Landis directed Trading Places and Coming to America. Martin Brest did Beverly Hills Cop. Tony Scott, who'd also directed Top Gun, did Beverly Hills Cop 2. It's all about their merit. When a black guy directs a Star Wars movie, cool. If it's a good movie, he gets my respect. If it's a bad movie, he gets the Ryan Johnson treatment. So all I want in terms of your Supreme Intelligence comment is somebody that knows the character or at least can learn about it and care and bring an interesting eye to the project. I'm not really worried about the narrative about making the movie. I'm worried about the actual film. If you told me that the next Batman movie was going to be made by 4-foot-tall men with, Jerry curls, and that's your narrative, I don't give a shit. If the movie's awesome and Batman kicks ass and it looks cool and it's gothic and scary and dramatic and intense, well, then you get my respect and maybe a repeat viewing. So, again, I don't care about the narrative of these things. That's why if we're going to go back to Captain Marvel in the closing segment of the show, that is why there is this culture war, too. It's manufactured to a point. The culture war, the us versus them type of thing. There's this infighting. It's manufactured to keep either people busy doing one thing and not paying attention to the bigger problem, or somebody like me who does try to pay attention to the overarching thing. I think the culture war is an attempt. It's created by someone to, make money, but also change public perception to where the people who make these weird, out there, zany, progressive pieces of entertainment, and I use quotations on progressive, so they can get that accomplishment or that self-importance, well, we did it first type of thing, and therefore they can make money down the road because people will go, well, they were ahead of the trends. I wonder what they're going to be ahead of next, and then, it all boils down to that. That's all I can say. The next Batman movie is being written and directed by Stan Lee, says Kendo. Kendo, no, that is not going to happen. I don't think Spike Lee is a marketable director anymore. Anton Fuqua is underrated. Is he the guy that did John Q? I think that was a pretty solid movie. Okay, Mark C., thank you very much. The Supreme Intelligence is the giant green floating tentacle head. Oh, I know that thing. I know the picture you're talking. Hold on, I'm going to pull that up. I know what you're talking about now. Supreme Intelligence, not the Supreme Court. I don't care what Darth Vader Ginsburg is up to. Okay, I know this thing now. Let's look at an old picture of the Supreme Intelligence. Well, that's from Jack Kirby. The Jack Kirby stuff is so pure. I don't want to say innocent and act like his work isn't good, but here's the Supreme Intelligence for those wondering what Mark C is talking about. Clearly a dude who knows his stuff. He's clearly a golfer. Um, there we go. You guys can take a look. The older I get, the more I do comics and stuff, the more I look to. It's weird. As a kid, didn't really want to read Jack Kirby stuff. Didn't care. Wanted John Romita only. Still love him. He's still my favorite. But the older I get, the more I produce stuff, I do look at Jack Kirby for that visual shorthand. There's a fight scene in Stealing Solo, and it's directly influenced by a splash page from Captain America. I don't know the issue number off the top of my head, but I saved the splash page, not because I want to draw the action, like the actual poses, but because I want those action effects, and I want you to feel the punch right in the face, just like Nick does when he tries to kidnap Harrison Ford. I mean, oh man, I am so pumped for you guys to see that. And I'm in the middle of the most fun part. Let's see. Yeah, he needs some antibiotics. He needs some milk. I'm sorry. I hate that joke, but I've always wanted to be able to say that, and I just did. Fuqua also did Training Day. Okay. I was going to say Training Day originally, but I thought Training Day was the guy from Suicide Squad. Maybe he was End of Watch. Okay, I love Training Day. I got the Blu-ray of Training Day. If I own a movie on home video, any format, I have to enjoy it somehow. Training Day kicks ass. Besides Eva Mendes being in it, Denzel Washington was awesome, and I love the ending. If you haven't seen it, that's a movie I respect so much I won't spoil it for you. Go watch it. I think you'll know what I know. I guarantee that you will be entertained by Training Day. Equalizer as well. Fuck, man. You're just listing off movies that I either love or want to watch. Don't drink the cream milk. Luke Skywalker drank the cream milk. That's what happened to him. That is exactly what happened to him. And that, oh my God, I'm saddened. Poor old Jake. Poor old Jake. Taking a swig of coffee for the working man. So tomorrow is a very special day. I'm not going to have a big segment, but just know tomorrow is the anniversary of Beverly Hills Cop. So I'm going to talk about that just for a moment tomorrow. I'm excited. I knew it was around this time of year. Officially widely released December 5th, 1984. So tomorrow is the 34th anniversary of Beverly Hills Cop. And I watched it last night when I was working on stuff. Makes me so happy. Swinging Cod, thank you very much. I started reading Avengers right before Black Knight killed the Supreme Intelligence. I will stop watching Avengers movies when Manverse kills Marvel. And you know what? I can laugh. I can say, this, that, and the other. But realistically, you're the type of person that they also need to focus on because they assume someone like you who knows the books, who's read them, will continue to do it because of some some internal conflict that, I didn't read it, I didn't buy it, there's something wrong, I need it, does not compute. They think there's such thing as guaranteed money. There's a point in time where you will alienate yourself from that core base. So have everybody. The next X-Men film is very important too, because you're coming off Logan, you're coming off Deadpool 1 and 2, you're coming off a pretty good X-Men renaissance. Yes, Apocalypse sucked, but Days of Future Past kicked ass. First Class, some people love. I'm not in that. I think it's better than Apocalypse, but I don't love the movie. Once Marvel reboots the X-Men, you got to be able to not only get the new audience and the MCU fan base, you got to get the classic X-Men. And if you want to make money, adapt the John Byrne era, the John Byrne, Chris Claremont stuff. You go there. Chris Claremont, Jim Lee. You could do stuff like that too. Milk. You want to milk nostalgia? Do it right. Do it properly. Don't do it half-assed and then bitch and call fans names when it doesn't work. Don't judge me. Norbit is one of my favorite movies. I respect you still. I saw Norbit in theaters. It's okay. It's not the worst Eddie Murphy movie. So if you would have said Pluto Nash, I would have shown you the door on YouTube. Said, please leave the door. Oh, Trent got it back. Trent, if you want to do a Back to the Future stream, we can make it happen. Folks, press 1 if you would watch, if you would join us on another Saturday or a Sunday or something, or Friday night for a Back to the Future stream. Just press 1. We did Star Wars. I feel like we owe it to you guys to cover some of the best movies of all time. Bowfinger is not only very funny. I have 2 copies of the DVD. I love Bowfinger. Okay, so lots of Back to the Future love. All right, that's going into the list, or onto the list. In the words of Chris Jericho, Back to the Future, you just made the list. Oh, funny story too. Maybe you'll laugh, maybe you won't. But last night, my mom got something from the Wounded Warrior Project. She's like, I think I'm going to donate to this. I said, cool. And she said, I've never donated anything. I'm like, yeah, you did, Mom. You once donated to the Coast Guard Youth Auxiliary. She's like, I did? And I looked at her, and I just nodded. I was like, Mom, that's from Back to the Future. She goes, oh, honey. That was it. My mom's awesome. That was a lot of fun. Indiana Jones live stream. I want to do that. It's only going to be the trilogy. I'm really, really jonesing for some Indiana Jones streams. Oh, where'd it go? Fuck. Well, I don't need to pick it up to show you because I'm not on camera right now. But I ordered the Indiana Jones game for PS2, Emperor's Tomb, the one I talked about, and it came in the mail yesterday. And do yourselves a favor. If you still own a PS2 or an original Xbox, please take my advice. I recommend stuff. I guarantee if you love Indiana Jones, you will love this game. Go buy yourself a copy. It's like $10 for one in the case. You will not be disappointed. It's a fantastic video game. It was my favorite game when I first bought it. Here's my copy underneath my other keyboard. I love it to this day, and I'm ready to go play through it again. Over Christmas, after I get some stuff done and have some time to myself, I'm going to replay this entire game. It's obviously graphically it's dated, but the gameplay is on point, and you will love the music, and the voice actor for Indiana Jones is really good. I do have a fun mom. She's a great lady, and she's really supportive of this channel. Kendo, Nick, and Dion are great dudes that really have helped us grow. But we wouldn't have the channel if it wouldn't have been for her support early on when I needed it the most. Before I knew Kendo and Nick, there was my mom who's like, yeah, you just got to find what you want to do in life and stuff like that. So thanks to her, I was able to take the time I needed to get to here, and now I'm here, and now we're rolling. We're about to have a Smash Brothers day. I'll tell you this, guys, if those are successful streams, I can do those at night. We can do a Smash Brothers time, and I'm upgrading our internet, so what we're going to do is be able to do like online things, and I'm going to throw this out there for the patrons, only because we have like 77,000 people that are subscribed to this channel with the secret subscribers. I'm going to give certain level patrons the gamer code, and you guys can come on and play Smash Brothers on the channel and hang out. You could be amazing, you could be terrible, I don't know, but it just gives you access to us in a different way, and it's a lot of fun. So if you're a patron and you have a Nintendo Switch, be prepared. We're gonna have some world-class bullshitters game codes available to you, and Kendo has a Switch. Nick is going to get a Switch if these streams are successful. Dion already has a Switch, and he's going to get Super Smash Brothers. So the 4 of us have the console. The 4 of us will have the game if it's successful and Nick buys it. We can have a lot of fun with that. David Hervey, thank you very much. Do you think Fantastic Four should be do you think Fantastic Four should be introduced in Black Panther 2 to bring it full circle? And how do you think they would introduce the X-Men into the MCU? I like this question quite a bit. I love these types of things. How would I do it? I think if you introduce the Fantastic Four in Black Panther 2, you would have to talk about T'Chaka and his previous adventures. Because I know it's T'Challa in the comics that teams up with the Fantastic Four. But I've heard this online. Maybe I'm perpetuating this rumor, but I really do like it. The Fantastic Four have to have been stuck in a time loop, a time warp, something to where they come from the 60s ageless. You'll have a couple interesting things. First off, you'll have the Fantastic Four coming to terms with being trapped. They think they're in a loophole for a couple minutes. They're 55 years into the future. They think it's 1962 or 3. You need to have them prior to the space race. You need to have them, or during the space race prior to landing on the moon. You should honestly have them before Kennedy got assassinated. That way, before the Vietnam War and all that stuff, the 60s idealism before it got dark and, depressing, in that era, post World War II high, post Korean War, all that stuff. You got to put them in like 1962. James Bond could be around. Beatles, I don't really know Beatles dates. Be careful. You don't want anachronisms. But if you do that, you have them interact with T'Chaka. That'd be the age-appropriate thing. I'd be fine with that. King T'Chaka and the Fantastic Four had gone on an adventure. That way you could introduce another Black Panther in that film as well. And T'Challa could learn more about his father. It could be secret things. It could talk about how, the United States was working with Wakanda in the 60s. I like that concept quite a bit. If done right, if executed well, that could be one of their best single films. And I don't mean like all the movies. I'm talking like the single character films, not Avengers. They could really, really create something excellent with that. Maybe, Reed Richards is not working on super soldier serum, but he's trying to work with a vibranium thing. And, the Wakandan government's offered X amount and it's trying to bridge the gap. Then they disappear. Then the Wakandans pull out, some type of thing. You could have that. I wouldn't do Galactus because how would the world forget about Galactus unless there's like, a mass hypnotic event or something like that? Who knows? But you can introduce Silver Surfer and all kinds of cool shit. And you could introduce Galactus and Silver Surfer down the road in modern times. How would I bring the X-Men into the MCU? They would have been there the entire time. I know this sounds hypocritical. I don't like the idea of PG-13 Deadpool, so I won't support it. But I would love if Deadpool was the only Marvel character to know that there were 2 X-Men franchises, and he goes, hey, you don't look like Hugh Jackman to the new Wolverine, or just something like that. Something that's like a wink and a nod to the audience. That would be kind of fun in those movies. I would introduce the X-Men as something underground, that if they've been doing stuff, they have averted other crises, they've helped. And I wouldn't have them be young like they are in the fucking Fox movies. I'd have them be 25, because kids will buy into adult stuff. When I was a kid, Power Rangers were cool because they were teenagers with attitude. I wanted to be an adult. People want to be treated like adults, all that kind of stuff. Maybe they just need to do that. Have them there the entire time. But I like the idea of Fantastic Four in Black Panther 2. And the funny thing is, Fantastic Four historically was Marvel's biggest title, and then it kind of went down to Spider-Man was number 1 for pretty much every other time until the X-Men, and then Spider-Man would interchange. Fantastic Four hasn't been really the hottest franchise in decades. I feel like because there's a lack of good Fantastic Four, that the public will be really receptive to them appearing, especially with the MCU treatment, the way technology is, the way the stories have been historically. And you're introducing Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Johnny Storm, and the Ben Grimm the Thing. And if Marvel's slick too, they won't use it to change anything. They won't pull a Michael B. Jordan with the Human Torch. That didn't work. Again, it's not because America or the world is racist. It's because it doesn't fit with the story. And the Human Torch has always been Johnny Storm, a white guy with blonde hair. Chris Evans was good enough. Actually, the people in the Tim Story Fantastic Four movies were okay at best. Chris Evans was the best part. Michael Chiklis was fine too. And with the exception of the Thing mask, the face piece they used, I didn't like that it lacked the big brow. If they would have included that and made his face more comic book like, I would have enjoyed I like the body prosthetic, something there on screen. Yeah, CGI works, but sometimes having something there works even better. So, David, thank you very much. You want a Spider-Man movie live stream? We can make that happen. Have I ever played Greatest Adventures on SNES? Alpha Terranima? Yes, I own that game. I bought it in high school, actually, on eBay. I bought it real cheap, and I played it, and I loved it. It's hard, but it's fun. Would I be down for a Star Wars MCU crossover? If it was the Guardians and they met Luke, Han, and Leia, yeah. If it's the Guardians and they meet Rey, Finn, and Poe, no thank you. Let's see. Thank you for all the mom love. She's a great lady. You guys are awesome. That's why sometimes when people post shit about how we're a hate group and this and that, I get pissed off because I am the one that reads the comments. I produce the content. I know I interact with everyone out there. You guys are awesome. This isn't an angry, hateful community. That's why I get kind of pissed off when I'm like, seriously, what the fuck are people saying about us now? Honestly, I don't get mad that they say it. I just get mad that they attack you guys. Like, I won't put up, like, if people attack my friends, like, you can say shit about me, and I just go, whatever. I'm secure enough. One, it's not true, and two, I really don't give a shit about you for what you're saying. But when people go after my friends, I kind of get pissed off. Like, there's this one episode of the podcast where people are like, oh man, you went off on Dustin. Why? Because he started talking shit about Dion. And for some reason, I just went off and I snapped. I don't like, look at you, some of you, most of you, 99.9% of you have never met me, and 98% will never meet me. So you don't know me personally. But I don't really like when people talk shit about you guys. It kind of pisses me off. Maybe I'm too, whatever, too sensitive to the fact. But I get pissed off because, I'm here on the streams. People are cool. People want to help. Everybody in the High Council, in the community of the Fandom Menace, everyone out there, making content. Maybe we don't kiss corporate ass, but we're good to our people that listen to the show, and we don't attack people that don't listen to our show. We don't go out of our way to be, the biggest douche. So I don't know why I got on that, but you guys are awesome. Thanks for all the support. Zebulon Pike, thank you very much. Have Rogue destroy Carol Danvers, taking her powers. I like Rogue a lot. Yes, my interest in the character comes from the 90s cartoon, but that doesn't mean I dislike her in the comic books. Now, the early Rogue, much like the early Psylocke, not really into it. Once Psylocke took over the Asian body and got cool in the bodysuit that's basically just straps over her crotch. But Olivia Munn Psylocke, I like that Psylocke for reasons. But Rogue, once she got the jacket and the cool hair and all that stuff, I kind of bought into the character. And I'd like to see her take down Carol Danvers. We have to wait to see the movie proper. But again, all the criticism levied today was directly at the trailer. You can't judge a trailer. What the fuck can't you judge a trailer? You can judge anything that you consume, be it with your time or your money. I'm drinking a cup of coffee. I can criticize this cup of coffee. I didn't pay for it, but I can criticize it. You know what I'm saying? One sip and I can criticize the coffee. You didn't drink the whole cup. It tastes the same. It's not like a layered Frappuccino or whatever, that stupid unicorn drink that has like as much sugar as like 10 candy bars. It's not like it's going to change flavors as I sip. It's the same thing. Same with this trailer. I can judge the trailer based on the trailer, and I can be concerned and speculate about the movie based on the trailer, because they usually show the best bits. And, for everyone out there that wanted to say, oh, you're judging the Last Jedi trailer too harshly, you're just angry, blah, blah, blah. What the fuck happened with the movie? That's all I can say. Oh, Jeff, you didn't like the Star Wars trailer. No, I did not, for episode 7. You just blah, blah, blah. Then the movie comes out, and then it took a little while. People are like, yeah, kind of was. It isn't about me being right. It's about, I can sense it. There's a disturbance in the force of this trailer rubs me the wrong way. This trailer does nothing for me. Now, I will go the opposite way too. I'm excited by the Shazam trailer. If that movie sucks, man, am I going to be hurt. If Aquaman sucks, man, I'm going to be hurt. Swinging Cod, thank you very much. They can make it work by introducing the Sentry and the Fantastic Four and X-Men were using their energy to maintain the amnesia. Look up Sentry's origin. You mean Bob, what's his name? I'll look up the Sentry's origin. I was reading Marvel, what is that, New Avengers? I know the Sentry, the big yellow Superman equivalent. And the whole wedding and who is Bob and he's in the cave and all that stuff. I know the character. That would be kind of cool. Swinging Cod, I gotta say, though, Reality's Frank came up with a good one, though. Professor X cuts a deal with Nick Fury to keep their existence a secret in exchange for intel on mutants. I kind of like that one a lot. But no, Swinging Cod, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe Jean Grey is using mass hypnosis, or Professor X and Cerebro. We'll find out. As long as the whole universe doesn't suffer from those changes, I'm there we go. Let's see. The Grand Inquisitor. Speaking of coffee, God damn it. No. Let me add this to my book, because I have this orange book I write. Let's see. Order coffee from Grand Inquisitor. Grand Inquisitor. Thank you again, and I'm sorry I keep forgetting. Like, when I get off of here, I'll edit this, and then I'll work on stuff. My days go by too fast. If I could have an extra 12 hours in a day, I'd be happy. Let's see. Streamlabs is doing it again. You know what? I will kick Streamlabs. I did not mean for it to be a problem. I was trying to get it, to be fun and have stuff for you to look at on screen, better sounds, all kinds of shit. I actually figured out how to change the stupid super chat sound on there to something really fucking cool. And I don't know. I'll iron it out. Remember, it's new to me, folks. It's new to me. It's me. I did install Streamlabs and tried to get it hooked up, but I didn't realize that it was being such a problem. Let's see if I can find it to kick it right now. Streamlabs, how do I boot it? See if it's going to pop up now. I said hi to it. Streamlabs subverted my expectations. Mine too. That's all I can say. I thought it was going to be one thing, and then I realized I have no clue what the hell it is. But to become a better streamer, I got to give you guys a better interface, better content, and I'm happy to do that. Hello, Streamlabs. I am working on getting this office more organized. I spent last night getting a lot of stuff rechanged so I can do the show on camera eventually, and you can have something to watch, graphics, all that. We're gonna make it like I don't know, not Bob and Tom, because I can't have guests come on. Well, maybe I could have guests come on. Good morning, pop culture. Have a super chat, Jeff. I've been too busy to listen live the last couple of weeks. Well, Tim Riggs, I'm glad you're still here, man. I appreciate the super chat. Sometimes when people are gone for a while, I think, I wonder if they died. Actually, no, I wonder if I said something that they're like, I'm done with this channel. But Tim Riggs, I'm glad you're there. Plus, I figure since you came to meet us in Indianapolis, you were pretty much a lifelong fan. By the way, folks, we will be going back to Indianapolis in September of next year. So if you need a chance to meet us, we'll be in Indianapolis, eventually Ohio, Chicago, a little bit of meetup in New York. We'll be able to hit this region. We're like the WWF back in the day. We have a region we travel to. The bigger we get, the further we go. We go to California. I'm sure the trip would be expensive, and we'd make like 10 new fans, but it'd be fun in California. Am I going to be a tidy streamer? Because I don't think we want that. What is a tidy streamer? If you tell me what it is, I'll tell you if I'm not going to do it. Let's see. Do you think the new Clone Wars series will be any good? No. Okay, put it like this. I don't think it's going to be bad, but people got really pissy with me when I said, don't be too excited, because I said, it's Disney. They'll find a way to change it. First off, the stories already existed. We know what they were going to do, so it's not going to be new. Secondly, they rehired the voice actors to do shit. Third, we found out that they have cut Clone Wars originally because it was too violent. So you're going to get a tamer Clone Wars show, and people are going to be excited because it's back. The first couple episodes are going to get 100%, but be prepared for people to realize that they've cut out and they've lost the magic of Clone Wars. Well, Dave Filoni's still there, but George Lucas, the head honcho, is no longer there. And that, we got to understand how big the driving force was with George Lucas. Observer Dude, thank you very much. How would you rank the Star Wars prequels from 1 to 10? Oh, and like, how would I rate them? Episode 3 would be a solid 7, 6.5. I know this sounds terrible, depending on how I watch them. And I don't mean in order, but like if I watch episode 3, it'd probably be like a 7 out of 10, maybe a 6.5 out of 10. Episode 2, 4, episode 1, a 5. They're okay at the episodes 1 and 2 are okay at best. 3 has moments of greatness, but I like it. I can find myself watching episode 3 on its own. I don't know, twice a year. I never watch episode 2. Only for this channel will I watch it. And episode 1, every once in a while, I want to watch the lightsaber duel, so I watch it on YouTube. Let's see. You love Bob and Tom, but they're not by you. Oh, dude, Bob and Tom's here on the local radio station every morning. I'll see about that. Like I said, I want this to be the most fun show you could have before you go to work. This is a one-man show, but if I could figure out how to do Google Voice and all that stuff, maybe we'll figure it out. Yes, I think Phantom Menace is better than Attack of the Clones. I meant to say... Titty streamer. No, I'll have those. Sorry. Swinging Cod. Got it. Heroes Return Onslaught. So Swinging Cod's got some comic books that they're going to read, or he's going to read. Excuse me. WCBS Big Tour. Hell, I'd even travel to East Lansing for that. Cincy, Skyline, Chili, baby. I love that people enjoy Skyline so much. Me personally, I guess because it's there every day, I never want it. As I say that, I kind of want that today. Darth Vader versus the entire MCU. Who wins? Entire MCU. I'm going to go with, I think the Scarlet Witch could, because she can distort reality and shit, she could fight the Force powers. And then, Darth Vader's suit being electrified by the Emperor fried his life circuits. Darth Vader's not infallible or, invincible, and that's what makes him great. Like in Empire. For example, remember the game Star Wars The Force Unleashed? Remember how you pull that Star Destroyer down from the sky? Imagine if you overpowered Vader in Empire, so when the Falcon takes off, he just uses the Force to pull the ship back. You see, you got to up the game you got to up the ante for the games and the books, but if you do that in the movies, because the villain can't be defeated, because they can't be bested, it doesn't make the story interesting. The heroes need to be able to be beaten and interesting too, have vulnerabilities. Well, if they're shot, they're done. So I think Vader would lose to the entire MCU, because what if the villains chime in? Thanos could snap him out of existence. They could fuck with his head. They could use the Reality Stone to make him think Padme's back, and he freaks out. I mean, Vader is cool. Vader's the best movie villain ever, but he is not unbeatable. Luke Skywalker beat him. He tapped into his anger to defeat him. He could have cut his head off and fully beat him, but he didn't. He stopped himself because he's got a lot of good left in him. Tim Riggs, thank you very much again. Bob and Tom broadcast out of Indy. I listen to them every morning since '94 on my Walkman, pre-Discman. Yes. Goddamn Walkman. My grandma had a Walkman, just with the tape and the radio. Yeah, the Napa Auto Studios or whatever. Yeah, because Indianapolis is an hour behind us in time zone, I think. Right? Yeah, they're an hour different. Yeah, they're on, what's channel is that? 92.5, The Fox. They play old rock all day. If you like Led Zeppelin and all that shit, make sure you listen to that channel if you're local. Don't hassle me, I'm local. Jeff, bring me some Skyline, says Kendo. I can do that. Damn, Rebel could defeat him with Pocket Sand. I love Pocket Sand. I love Clone Wars. Or I love King of the Hill. I love Clone Wars too. Swinging Cod, I apologize. No, Avengers are in an alternate universe created by defeating Onslaught and Fantastic Four and X-Men have to bring them back. The whole MCU in a pocket universe. Oh, okay. Okay. If it's entertaining, I dig it. Onslaught was what? 96-ish? Well, I know I've read the story once at Joel's. Heroes Reborn. Is that Heroes Reborn era? One problem with reading a lot of comics, after a while, unless it's not your favorite, some of the stories overlap. I vaguely remember all the elements of Secret Invasion, like when they go to the Savage Land and the Quinjet appears and all that shit. But I'd be cool with that. The Avengers come into that universe. See, sometimes like this, you're like, why don't fans work on these things? Because the writers they get aren't good. I can't. The thing is, I can't shit on Marvel too heavily. I can shit on Star Wars because they produce crap for the last 3 years. But Marvel hasn't produced a turd like The Last Jedi or maybe Solo. I don't know. Can Vader stop your heart? Sure, but I don't think he can do everything at once. Shit, couldn't Iron Man just stop Vader's heart and his breathing by tapping into his cybernetics with his suit? See, Star Wars technology and Marvel technology, they don't really cross over because Star Wars is a galaxy far, far away. It's fantasy, this, that, and the other. Marvel's based in reality. So, nanobots or, nanotechnology is a real thing, so Iron Man has it. The way he connects with wireless and satellites and all that stuff. So unless you're Thor where science and magic are one and the same, you kind of run into a weird crossover. Tim Riggs, thank you very much. I want to say something about Larson. I saw Skull Island on release day. Her character was useless, had no point existing. Her acting was wooden, uninteresting, without redemption. She sucked. I saw Skull Island as well, and my favorite part was the post credits with the Godzilla crossover, where I got goosebumps. She is just a photographer, a war photographer. I think, Tim, that she exists to reference back to, what is it, Fay Ray in the original Kong with the blonde woman, and he holds her and stuff like that. I own the Blu-ray. I haven't watched the movie since it was in theaters, so I do need to give that movie a watch again. I like her in 21 Jump Street. I remember, I really do. I thought the character was fun, and I like how she got drunk and hit Jonah Hill and all this shit, and she ruins it for him. Maybe you could find, not you, Tim, personally, but people out there, the royal you could say 21 Jump Street sucks. That's fine. I think it's one of the best comedies of the decade. Well, yeah, it is this decade, 2012. Not only is it funny, but it speaks to me on the whole age gap thing. I really enjoy it. That, to me, is like the very definition of a SJW parody film. I mean, I wish more people paid attention to it. Maybe I should add that to the Culture War series. You know what? I will. Let's see. 21 Jump Street. Culture War. But to jump back to your point, I think she does exist just to have Kong hold the woman, and that's about it. Yeah, Samuel Jackson was in that movie. Shit. The movie... Should the movie have been a little grittier about, just straight up Vietnam action and stuff? Maybe. I thought the movie delivered overall on the kills, on the Kong looked great. I loved when he fought the giant octopus. All that stuff was neat. And I guess the character that Brie Larson was teamed up with could have been the main guy and had her. But I don't really look at her as the lead in that movie either. So I get what you're saying. I don't really remember. I got to rewatch the movie to get too analytical about her, too critical to break it down and look at her again. I just remember liking the movie, and I know she's in it, so I guess I just instantly kind of give it a pass type of thing. Oh, Dr. Coffin Nails, you're late to the party. That's cool, though. There'll be the replay, and you'll be able to hear it. What if Hollywood redid the 2005 movie Doom with a good story right from the game, but use the game soundtrack? The soundtrack's cool. Maybe you adapt a later Doom, like a Doom 3 type of thing. Could be cool. The funny thing is, with The Rock now in it, it would be a lot better. Rock 2005, Only thing memorable about Doom to me was that it came out on my birthday. Is Rebels any good? Thinking about giving it a try. I've watched one episode and I didn't like it, but I always tell you guys on this channel, give it a shot yourself and tell me what you think. I'm not going to watch Rebels. I don't like the designs. I don't like... I just have no interest in it. From what I've seen, I didn't like. It's not for me. Lightsabers can make you fly? Okay, sure. Death Star blasts entire Marvel Earth. Vader wins. But Luke already destroyed the Death Star. Doom the cockening. I watched Doom 6 times in theaters because of The Rock. You are a bigger Rock movie fan than I am. I would call myself The Rock's biggest fan. Love the dude to death, but my God, I would not watch Doom in theaters 6 times. I didn't even watch it once. Orion the Boomerang. Jeff, you're sweet and cool. How are you still single? Well, I'm kind of busy, but I got some stuff in my personal life that goes on. I just don't talk about it on the channel. The guys from the channel know what's up, and it's my life is not as boring as you guys might think, but this channel is a time. I won't call it a time hole because it's not a waste of time. I genuinely like this. I just I'm not in the situation to do that right now. Because if I did, the channel would suffer. And we're not big enough that I can go like JonTron months without a video and then get 5 million views in a day. Like when I reach the JonTron level, then I might step away. No, I won't. I like this. Shit, on off days, I get up this early. And I'm like, oh, there's no Good Morning Pop Culture today. And so I just sit around and do nothing. I know some people are thinking, Jeff, just give us an extra show. We want more. I might. If I ever wake up on another day and I'm having issues sleeping. I'll give you guys a Good Morning Pop Culture Spider-Man edition. I had to sacrifice love like Spider-Man. Not really. Then again, though, but I'm not ready to get married like you are, Frank. So, yeah, we'll be fine. Did I watch Jake the Snake Roberts on Joe Rogan 2 weeks ago? It was epic. No, but I'm going to now. Jake the Snake Roberts is a lot like Iron Man to me. Robert Downey Jr. He has a great redemption story, and it doesn't bring a tear to my eye, like literally, but the shit the guy went through and the fact that he lives the life he does now and is not jaded and not ruined is really inspirational. In closing, I'll give you guys two things. If you ever feel downtrodden, beaten, whatever, defeated, look at somebody like a Robert Downey Jr., look at somebody like a Jake the Snake Roberts. Maybe you're not going to be making a movie and making $50 million a picture, but you could be like Jake the Snake Roberts on the brink of self-destruction. You had it all, you pissed it away, and you can come back even better and find a new life on the other side. Maybe it's sobriety, maybe it's depression. I don't know what it is, but there is a chance out there. There's hope. And use Jake the Snake Roberts as that example, because Jake the Snake Roberts, even if you don't like wrestling, the dude's cool, and his comeback is just inspirational. And, you got to give shout out to people like DDP Yoga, and you got to give shout out to people like Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson gave Robert Downey Jr. a chance. I think he backed him for the insurance money. And then Robert Downey Jr. has proven himself. And Robert Downey Jr. said, hey, give Mel Gibson a chance after he said stupid shit. And now Mel Gibson is back making movies like, was it Heartbreak Ridge? Not Heartbreak Ridge, Hacksaw Ridge. And that was like nominated for an Oscar and got a standing ovation and stuff like that. So, bigger people have come back from bigger things. So that's my piece of advice for today. Zebulon Pike says, ever see Southland Tales? The Rock was great. Dude, Southland Tales is a movie that I absolutely hate. Seriously, I saw that in college. Dion and I quote that to each other. I'm a pimp, and pimps don't kill themselves. What in the fuck was that? Jericho Kane. Tim Riggs says, you missed my last super chat, Jeff. Oh, you're being facetious. Sorry. I was like, wait, I did? I actually scrolled up to look. I feel really bad when I do. No, I definitely read your Brie Larson Wooden and she sucked. I definitely read that one, man. What is MGTOW? I don't know what that stands for. Did I watch The Flexing 2 by JonTron? No, but I'm going to. Fucking love JonTron. He is the only YouTuber that will make me laugh till I cry. He gets it, man. I love his content. That's a YouTuber I'd like to hang out with. Let's see. What are we doing? Closing out. Big Taoist feminism for men. Men going their own way. Oh, no. Not at all. I just, like I said, the guys on the channel know what's going on. It's like I said, you'd be surprised. It's kind of cool. I just don't talk about it on the channel because, mixing that part of my life and the channel just really don't go hand in hand. So I'm not going to worry about it. Have I seen Game Grumps then? Yes, I've seen Game Grumps. I've seen that. They're okay. Hillary, Dion's wife, loves Game Grumps. As I produce game content, I like to play it myself. I will say this, though. I'm kind of glad the stream crashed last night during Spider-Man because the 3 segments I played after the stream crashed were Mary Jane, Miles Morales, and then Spider-Man doing the circuit board. And the circuit board moments are fun because they make you think. It's a little bit of a puzzle. And I can't really talk to you guys about stuff and play it at the same time. So there we go. Have I seen Game Theory or Film Theory? Yeah, I used to be a subscriber to both of those channels. I lost interest during the Five Nights at Freddy's thing, but I get it. As a content creator, I understand why Matt Pat did all the Five Nights at Freddy's stuff. The views. I get it. Believe me. I know it gets the views. I have respect for him. Game Awards stream, like where I will stream my reaction to the Game Awards. I honestly haven't followed enough of the gaming scene this year. I've owned every PlayStation, most Nintendos except the Wii U. all the Xbox except the Xbox One. I like video games. I don't follow the community too heavily because I can't. I don't want to get into online bitch fights about Super Smash Brothers, this and that. Look, I like Smash Brothers. It's a fine game. It's an amazing game. I like Nintendo. I have fun with that stuff. I don't want to live in the IGN comment section is basically what I'm saying. Yes, the Mary Jane gameplay was pointless. I should have been Spider-Man watching her instead of pressing square to have Spider-Man grab up Mary Jane. Thank you, the Duckson 1977. Yeah, folks, it is getting close to 10. It's 10 a.m. I mean, stream covering the Game Awards as it happens. Let's see. The day after, we'll talk about it on Good Morning Pop Culture. How's that? If somebody reminds me to look up the awards, because a lot of these games I'm not going to know. And the Game Awards, much like the Oscars, much like other things, are just advertisements and sycophantic circle jerking. Just straight up, Jeff Keighley, the Mountain Dew and the Doritos and shit. Leave that for Angry Joe. He can talk about the Game Awards and stuff like that. We'll cover some gaming. I'll bring you guys some fun stuff in a community-based way. But overall, I don't want to extend myself into a territory that I don't actually care about enough. You can hear me talk about comics and movies and games and stuff that I care about. But if you're asking me, like, what are your thoughts on Call of Duty not having a campaign? Like, okay, I haven't bought a Call of Duty game since the first Black Ops. I wasn't invested already. That doesn't mean I don't want to entertain you, but I don't want to give you some bullshit answer out of the blue. It's kind of hard for me to lie to you guys about stuff like that. Jajigafy, thank you very much. Thoughts on PSX Classic? Me, very disappointed. It's funny, when I was trying to fill time before we got to 200 viewers, I mentioned it briefly. Okay, this is a weird way to close out the show, but we talk about nostalgia. For some reason, I guess because it's been 20 years roughly since we had we got a PlayStation earlier than 20 years ago. We got it fairly early. It was the first thing we ever bought at Meijer. This was pre-DualShock PlayStation era. So we may have got a PlayStation right after 97, as I think, when we got one. But I've been kind of nostalgic for the PlayStation marketing of the original, like that sound effect that plays on the beginning of the commercials, the weird, irreverent Crash Bandicoot ads, just stuff like that. And I feel like it's swirling right now. Like this 90s nostalgia is about to hit real big. And I grew up in the 90s. Oh man, Power Rangers, Inspector Gadget. Even though Gadget was out in the 80s, it came back in the 90s with a game and toys and all this stuff. So they re-released it. But this PlayStation, I'm like really into old PlayStation stuff. Like I talk about Metal Gear Solid 2, I talk about PS2, all this stuff. Initially, I was invested in this. Now, my biggest complaint about the PlayStation Classic isn't the game library, because I understand the thing is, with PlayStation being so big and having sold so many units and selling so many games, every PlayStation game is someone's favorite game, and you can't please everybody. You can't please a lot of people. I felt like they did a good job with certain games. Metal Gear Solid, that's one of the the biggest titles on the system. Siphon Filter, that's one of my favorite. But I understand from a licensing standpoint why they can't put certain games on. If you would have said, Jeff, what would your top 20 games have been? I would have put Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. That is one of the best skateboarding games ever made and one of the best on the PlayStation. Another game I liked that would never really move units, but I would love to play, would have been WWF SmackDown 2, Know Your Role. Again, personal things. That is why people get upset. There's no Final Fantasy this version or that version. Look, if you want a Final Fantasy machine, get one of the countless re-releases. Final Fantasy, for me, Final Fantasy is like Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones. I respect it. I understand why millions of people like it, but I don't. It's not for me. So for that reason, I'm not attached to it emotionally, and I don't really care about it. If you look around this office, I have exactly 0 Final Fantasy pieces of merchandise. I have 0 Final Fantasy games. I don't like turn-based RPGs. I really don't do RPGs that much. The most RPG-esque stuff I'll do is Zelda with inventory and leveling up and certain shit like that. Or like in Spider-Man, you level up as well. Now, the PlayStation, with it being so big, you don't have a representation of the system proper. Now, like for example, Crash Bandicoot's not on the system. Well, I bought the Crash Bandicoot re-release, and that looks great, and that's fun. And I don't look at the PlayStation Classic or the Mini or whatever it's called as a replacement for like. I feel like if you're going to own the PlayStation ecosystem, to take a page out of Apple's book, have a PS4, and then get a PS Classic just to fill in or for fun, or to get the controller, some shit like that. It has value to some people, but not to me. Will I be buying it? No, I will not. I've been on this Metal Gear Solid kick for a while now. I picked up a Figma Solid Snake. I've been getting the games. You know what I did to want to play that first game? I bought the version for PS3. Going to play it in high def and enjoy all the other games, because Metal Gear Solid 2 is a fantastic game. So I will get the PlayStation Classic for $30. If I can find it super cheap, I will get it. I love the box. I love all the stuff. It's making me feel nice and fuzzy, but the system is very useless to me. You can do it on open source emulation. I actually watched a video yesterday of something I considered doing. You can get this NVIDIA thing, the streaming box that can run emulators. And I thought to myself, it runs N64 almost flawlessly. It runs GameCube fairly well. I own these games, and if it's like the digital copy thing. If you own a physical copy, it's not illegal. I could get these games. I could stream us Rogue Squadron 2 because I own 2 copies of that game physically. We could do a Rogue Squadron 2 stream. We could talk about Star Wars and this and that. There are all these elements of things we could do with a device like that. PlayStation Classic could have been that. It's nice to have it in HDMI. It's nice to have it, in HD and all that crap. But I guess overall, it is a disappointment. It does lack, but I think the disappointment stems from each personal gamer's user experience. Ballerina Toshin's nice because it represents, well, one, I like the game. We had it when I was a kid. And 2, it's one of the first titles or earlier titles for the system. So I get they're trying to cover the spectrum. Plus the PlayStation, they had games from 95 to 04 or something like that. They had such a long support life cycle. Where do you begin and end? It's like my argument with Star Wars. What is the original cut? Well, there's the 70 millimeter and there's the 35 millimeter. 70 millimeter has different dialogue, different this, different that. Certain people only saw the 70 millimeter cut. Do we consider the home video release? Then it's really not the true release. You know what I'm saying? It's all based on experience, and there's not one correct way to sell a PlayStation Classic. There's not one correct version of Star Wars, if you understand the analogy I'm trying to make. Let's see. Rogue Squadron 2 still doesn't run well on an emulator. Well, shit. I wanted to play that game. It's one of my favorite games ever. Raspberry Pi plus RetroPie beats NES Classic, the NES Classic, and PlayStation Classic in terms of ROMs, even the number of systems it can emulate. Phil bought one and then wiped it for some dumb reason because he didn't want to buy a new memory card or something. I have the Super NT, and I want to get one of those super cards, the all cart one, and then get a ROM with every Super Nintendo game and play it that way, because that'll be emulation on the original hardware, and it's like there's no latency or any kind of issues, and all the games will play properly. I like the idea of a little device that plays everything ever. It's fun. I'm not nostalgic enough for Nintendo that I would drop any money on an NES library. My dad was weird. One of the few things I ever was inherited from him was the Nintendo. I save it for that purpose, and I love the look of the system and the controllers, and it's fun, and there's that feeling. I grew up with it. But I could see myself owning another Nintendo to collect and maybe have a couple games just for fun. Same with a Super Nintendo. I have 2 Super Nintendos. I have my original, and then I bought the mini one. I don't want to go back and spend $90 on the Adventures of Batman and Robin. I will play it. I'll emulate it. It's a fun game, but I'm not going to drop that because the collector's market has really hurt the value of some games. So they reproduce games, they do this, they do that. Realistically, they're like, well, that hurts the game companies, this, that, and the other. I disagree with that argument in terms of game emulation because license expires, nobody makes money on the game. If I drop $500 for a brand new copy of Legend of Zelda Link to the Past on eBay, Nintendo didn't see a dime. They don't lose money if you emulate it either. I know that's kind of a gray area that some people are getting upset with me talking about, but that's how I feel about certain things. Oh, well, Mario, they're going to re-release Mario. Yeah, that's a different thing. Mario's on every fucking system ever. Cool, grand. But again, Batman, the Spider-Man or the Spider-Man game, those things aren't going to get re-released. They're not going to get a wrestling game. If I want to play SmackDown 2 in high definition or No Mercy, they'll never re-release those games because they have Chris Benoit, certain wrestlers or other wrestlers are dead, certain things like that, licensing with music. You'll never get those games. They exist in a vacuum. WWF or WWE doesn't lose any money about that shit. So the cutscenes had slow down shit. Okay. I'm waiting on Analog to make a PS1 like they did the Super NT. Well, Alpha Terranima, you could just get an old PS3 and get the same quality because PS3 runs HDMI and it plays PS1 and 2 games and it upscales them to some degree. You can do smoothing, you can do this and that. I don't know. I think Sony on the PS5 should actually undercut Analog and just straight up put out PlayStation 5. Every game gets up converted and scaled up and all this great shit. It would take them such a small percentage of the power of the system and the money that would have cost, all that kind of stuff. So I like that. Jigify says, I disagree. Much like the SNES Classic had a set of 20 to 30 games that mostly represent them well. There does set it exists of 20 PSX games the majority would agree on. See, I'm a PlayStation fan. I don't like any of the JRPGs. So for everyone that complains, I'm like, I don't care. See, for stuff that represents PlayStation, here's the thing though. Mario and Nintendo or all these first-party games on the Nintendo system are great. Plus, there was the Nintendo seal of quality. There was a much smaller amount of games produced for those systems. And they're mostly first-party games. Yeah, you have your Street Fighter 2 or your Mega Man X. But Street Fighter 2 Turbo didn't exist on other systems. There was a Street Fighter 2 Arcade or Championship Edition on Sega Genesis. Those games were so tied with PlayStation made a bunch of its money on licensing and other things, other third parties. Third-party games are what made PlayStation. It's nice to see Siphon Filter for me. I'm excited. You may not give a shit about Siphon Filter, but that's a PlayStation game I was tied in with. So there we go. Yeah, no Tony Hawk, no buy for me. Without Tony Hawk, we can't have the music in Tony Hawk, and that's what makes the game fun. And the PlayStation version had blood. The Nintendo 64 version did not. Yes, only the earliest PS3s do, but all PS3s play PlayStation 1 games. So if you're really desperate for a PlayStation 1 software emulation, the PS3, all of them, because I have my good one was stolen, which pisses me off, but I have the little slim one, and that still plays PS1 games. So, David Hervey, thank you very much. Which one is better, Super NT or hacked SNES Classic? Well, Dan has a hacked NES Classic. You might say that due to the menu screens and the controllers, but I'll say Super NT. Super NT supports original controllers as well as the Bluetooth 8-bit DOE controllers, and you can get the 8-bit DOE ones. But I like the Super NT. It's a sexier system. It has different design choices. It's built well. The cords aren't dog shit. Like the little Super Nintendo Classic, you have to be so close to the TV and this and that. I like my Super NT. I can plug in my little controller, same size, better build, charges it via USB, micro USB, and we're there. If you wanted my opinion, what you should buy, remember the Super NT is higher price, but I think you get just as or a better quality product than an original Super Nintendo. You get that, you get your EverDrive, and you get your little SD card with all the games loaded on. And if you get the certain EverDrive, is it EverDrive or whatever it's called, that cartridge that has a SFX chip in it, you can do all the games 1-to-1. So to me, that's your best bet. Plus, it looks cool. There's something about it. Problem is with the older PS3s, like the older Xbox 360s, that they rushed it out, not tested, then released. The PS3 I bought was the 20 gig model, so it didn't have Wi-Fi, which was really bizarre. But I never had a single issue with it. Had it not been stolen, I'd be using that to this day for all PS2 games because I really love PS2. That was a great system. Social Loner, thank you very much. Do you think Lucas should work on the Obi-Wan movie? Will he be unfettered? Will he have the freedom to work on it in his way, or will he have to answer to Kathleen Kennedy? Because there seems to be a very adversarial feeling towards George Lucas. Remember how Frank Marshall discussed how they will not be letting George Lucas anywhere near the writer's room on Indiana Jones 5. I don't think he would have any kind of freedom. If they say George Lucas is working on the film, I think it would be PR spin. And it would be like, well, George Lucas sat in during lunch and his ideas were written down, but they weren't used. So I don't know if him being involved with the movie would help. I just want, if they're going to make an Obi-Wan film, I want it to be like a samurai western on Tatooine, him dealing with the Sand People, him dealing with a Jabba the Hutt cartel, something. I don't really want him off planet, and I don't want Darth Vader to be in the movie. You know, I want him to mention Darth Vader, but if Vader knew Obi-Wan was on Tatooine and he could surmise why he's there, because Anakin may be, childish and impulsive, but he wasn't stupid, especially in the Clone Wars. He was a great leader. You don't want Vader on there because he's just hunting for Luke, and it causes problems with Star Wars. You don't really want to mess with Star Wars. That's why I give Rogue One a pass in the comment or the complimentary things I say about it, because it really doesn't alter Star Wars too much. It just Dr. Evazan and Ponda Baba have to be on the bar the next day. That's about it. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with how it stays true to that. So that's what I really want out of an Obi-Wan film. That's my biggest thing is I want Ewan McGregor. I want it to be, it doesn't have to be gory, but I want it to have the same level of violence as the prequels. And I want it to have tension. Obi-Wan is hiding. He doesn't want to be caught. He doesn't want to be found out. He doesn't want Luke to be found. Luke is the last hope. He's the new hope, for the Jedi to vanquish the Sith and restore order to the galaxy, in a matter of speaking. Because, Vader, by killing the Emperor, brought balance, X, Y, and Z. We've had that discussion. But if there is an Obi-Wan film, that's what I want. But I don't know if it's happening. Let's see. Another thing you can do with the Raspberry Pi plus RetroPie is you can emulate MS-DOS games. And if you have a GamePort to USB adapter, you can use a joystick on MS-DOS games. Gamepad 31 Live, I might ask Nick to build me one of these, because I wouldn't mind playing Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. All those old Indiana Jones point-and-click games. I love Indiana Jones, as you can tell. Let's see. I have a theory that Kathleen Kennedy has much less control over Lucasfilm. There's no way she still has so much control after all the drama. Well, Akmal Danish, I hope I'm saying it right. I apologize if I butchered your name. That could be the case. You could see somebody like a Bob Iger or somebody else. That's why we're getting a rushed out Star Wars animated show. That's why we're getting these things that jump back to the original trilogy. That's why we're getting an action figure toy line that is literally just repackages of figures that exist not too long ago, under the guise of Star Wars being for kids. Hopefully, they're thinking about moving past the clusterfuck of the Kathleen Kennedy era. We'll find out. It's a possibility. I know that those things are fun to speculate on, but we have to know with certainty before we can discuss. But let me take that back. We don't have to know certainty before we can discuss it. We can discuss it now. We can look into see if there are any clues or hints, but we can't make a definitive answer. We can have an idea. And like you said, you have a theory. So I'm not knocking you or taking any credibility away from your opinion or theory. We just have to find out. Kathleen Kennedy may be out of the loop. She got her reward. We don't know what she does day to day. We will see with episode 9. Episode 9 could be too late. We will see. I would love for it to be just a disaster of a stupid movie. I want to laugh. Star Wars Episode 9, the greatest comedy of all time. For the old Lucas Arts games, you better use SCUMMVM. Okay. I'll check that out. I just want to play that one. I hacked my PS Vita and TV, much better option than the classic. Jeff, didn't you feel the Silver Sable shouldn't have literally been kicking Spider-Man around the game? I had that thought yesterday. Every time she pulls out her guns, he webs them and she spins around and kicks them. I'm like, where's your fucking spider sense? Don't tell me, but I'm waiting for her to pull it one more time, and then I stop her and web her to a wall or something. Spider-Man should get the last laugh. He's the hero. He's our cipher into the world, and as the gamer, we want to ride off into the sunset on a high note. Alec Munoz, thank you very much. Why does Iger get a pass from us a lot? Ultra lefty. I think Bob Iger. I don't think Bob Iger gets a pass. I don't think Bob Iger is. It's like Ike Perlmutter or a bigger person at these companies. Bob Iger doesn't get a pass from me because he's a man or an ultra lefty or whatever. Bob Iger doesn't run Lucasfilm. He's above her. Certain Xbox decisions. I don't know what Bill Gates does currently. I'm assuming he still works at Microsoft. But Bill Gates wasn't. He may have been the head of Microsoft, but he wasn't making every decision for the Xbox. He wasn't making every decision for their games moment. So Bob Iger's above her. She is the president of Lucasfilm. I blame her and the story group and everybody equally. Actually, but she represents everybody. So Bob Iger doesn't get a pass. I just don't think Bob Iger is actually involved. I found it really interesting and bizarre that Bob Iger actually spoke out about, we've put out too many Star Wars films. What was that, 2 months ago, 3 months ago? I thought that was a very telling thing. But I don't look at Kathleen Kennedy and give her a pass as, or Bob Iger's a pass for any reason. That's all I can say. Steve Ballmer almost destroyed the Xbox. I didn't know that. Let's see. Most MS-DOS games run on a keyboard, so you might need that for your RetroPie build. For a shell, I recommend an old console shell like a dead PS2 or PS3 or original Xbox. Well, I have a broken Xbox. I could use that as a shell. That'd be a lot of fun. I don't know about Pablo Hidalgo's testicles. I don't know. I don't really follow Pablo Hidalgo. I know Ethan loves to prod him in Pokemon line. The thing is, I'm not saying anybody in the Fandom Menace does this, but my interest isn't in these people's lives. They only come to mind when they attack the fans and say stupid shit about us. I'm more focused on the actual property, and but those people do come up when you try to figure out why it's ruined and why it is. I guess they all are interconnected. I just don't personally follow Pablo Hidalgo. He is not really, he's not a guy on my radar. I don't think he's solely responsible. I think he's just a cog in the wheel, kind of like, what was that guy's name that we talked about for the Lucasfilm Story Group? Certain people are cogs in the wheels, and the higher up you go, that's where the decisions are made. I feel like a lot of them are just yes men, and they just want their job. They're doing what they want to do, and they really don't want to, get kicked out. So I guess it is time to close this out. I hate to say it, you guys have been keeping me going. I really was just like, okay, we can keep this rolling. Getting ready to make myself another cup of coffee. I stalked Pablo Hidalgo's MySpace page. Pablo Hidalgo would make my top 8 spaces if I still had a MySpace page. That's all I can say. Look at the MCU. It's not impossible to make multiple good films. Kathleen Kennedy, clueless. Needs a Feige type overseeing Star Wars. Well, remember, folks, Kevin Feige likes Marvel and all these things he's doing, and he was associated with these other Marvel films prior to the MCU. I believe Kevin Feige's name is on Spider-Man 2. So I think you just need to remember that these people have to love a property. If I knew about film production properly, or honestly, I could probably do what these people do and do it better in terms of Star Wars, because I love Star Wars. I can write stories, I can tell stories, and I know how to talk to the fans and get them excited what they want, because I'm one of you guys. I'm a fan of these properties. I like sci-fi and all this shit. They're so removed because for them it's just a job. Like, I'm not trying to sound egotistical. You give me the reins, I could run Marvel Comics. It's not that fucking hard. Oh, Joe Quesada's editor-in-chief, great. You know what? I know I'd have to sit through financial meetings and the boring shit, but I could be a hands-on editor for all these books. We could do big crossovers. We could fix these books. Oh, you're not sensitive to certain people's ideas. Who gives a shit? It sucks. Let's move forward. Fans first. Stan Lee got that. And he was also able to tell really fantastic stories that stood the test of time. They were the House of Ideas is what they used to be called. Now they're the House of Ideas where they go to die. I just don't, I don't dig it at all. Let's see. I lost all respect for J.J. Abrams since he ran his soy mouth. Plus that Ray Finn in his World War II film. I don't know. I didn't watch his zombie World War II flick. Not for me. Did I see the old video of Ryan Johnson from 10 years ago saying he's fetish for half the audience that hate his movies? Yes, I have that video saved on my computer. I found it and I downloaded it. It's too important to let go. Okay, Kevin Feige's name is on the credits of Spider-Man 2. I thought so. Spider-Man 2, my God. Like I was trying to say during the Spider-Man stream last night before PlayStation Network crapped the bed, Spider-Man 2, or Spider-Man, this game, would make a fantastic Spider-Man film. Adult Spider-Man has so many dramatic elements, and I think it really stems from adulthood taking place later in life as opposed to in the 1960s. For example, you go to high school, maybe you get into a trade, and you get married in your early 20s. Now, you don't know what you're doing. Like me, I'm 30. I know what I'm doing. I finally got something that, I'm really happy and it's really successful, but I'm not looking to start a family yet. I got things I want to do. Perpetually teenage Spider-Man changes. I mean, like what it is to be a teenager changes, and it really kind of just alters the character. Early 20s, broke, trying to find his way in life without a rigid adult structure. Spider-Man is much more relatable. Tim Riggs, thank you very much again. It's the environment that does it, Jeff. Just like DC corrupts any politician, Hollywood erodes and jades anyone that works there. I know you're right. I want to believe that I could overtake it and do it right, so I will. No, but Tim, I get it. It's all about keeping up with the Joneses. In this term, it's not about, oh, my neighbor got a new car, I need a new car. Oh, my neighbor's wife got implants, well, my wife needs implants. It's not about that. It's this person believes that. Well, now I need to believe that so I can be just like this person and be successful or move up. It's dangerous because the crazier people are getting glorified in entertainment, and we all suffer. The level of apathy right now, and the best part about all this is, and I mean best in a sarcastic way, for every time that we want to avoid a film or not go see it, it's cinemas are dying, streaming's the future. But then when a movie makes $2 billion, people love going to the cinemas, and now we're going to introduce new technologies. It's all the excuses that they keep rolling with. You will see all of these things come up to defend Hollywood all the time. So, Tim, I want to believe it, but yeah, it's interesting to watch politicians change over time. Now, I'm not getting into a political talk, but that one lady from New York, it'll be interesting to watch her, see if she changes her platform as she gets in Congress and all that stuff. So that's going to be kind of an interesting thing because she's new and fresh, but very, very public. Same thing with an actress or an actor, or like a Jennifer Lawrence. She started out on the Bill Engvall show and this and that. Then she got really popular and her views changed. It's just you watch who's the newest in. That's another reason why I really like The Rock as a person, because he just stayed the same guy. His public persona has been that positive, smiling, giant dude, and he's never alienated a group of people. Yeah, you had the people go on about the John Henry thing, but that came and went. The Rock has been a pretty constant positive force in entertainment. So, Tim Riggs, thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't need to rush to have a family. I look at it like this. Again, I always tell you guys little bits about me. I figure once I have a family, it's forever. So why not enjoy it before I'm stuck with it forever? If you know what I'm saying. I'm not saying you're stuck with a kid or this or that, but like things are getting good. If I want to jump on a plane and go somewhere, I don't want to have to be like, hey, honey, is so-and-so taken care of? Blah, blah, blah. I got to do this. Dr. Coffinail says, Mrs. Coffinail needs no implants. Double D, brother. Good for you. I'm gonna give you an applause. Not a sarcastic applause, but a genuine, you're a very lucky guy. That's all I can say. Oh, man. Let's see. The Rock is better than Brie Larson. Duh. He's a poser, but people like fake. I don't think he's a poser. I've read his book, and I followed him for almost 20 years. Watch interviews with him. It's been pretty much the same dude. Plus, he knows how to play the game. And I watch a couple YouTube series that have analyzed him, and it's good. Plus, the thing is, you can see all the stuff he's done for people. Bought his mom a house and a car. I respect that. Like Edge, the wrestler. You may not like wrestling again, but Edge's goal was I want to make it big enough to buy my mom a house. And then his mom passed away this past week, and I thought of that story. I thought, that's me. I get Edge. I understand that. The Rock will give people, I gave a stuntman his truck and this and that. That's why I don't buy into the cult of the Rock. I don't go see his movies, but I speak highly of him. Gamepad 31 says, I hope I remain single for the rest of my life. Only you can make that decision, my friend. If you want to, do it. Some of my friends are desperate to get into relationships. I've been there. They've been fine. They haven't been these terrible things that jaded me and scarred me, unlike a British movie villain that can never be scarred again. Talk about a dumb topic. We'll cover that tomorrow. But, you do what you got to do, and you do it in your own time. That's all I can say. Did I hear that The Mandalorian is supposed to be like The Hangover? Oh, God, no. No. Oh, my God. Only you can prevent forest fires. Yes. Thankfully, I live nowhere near a forest fire. Or a gender reveal party. Did you guys see that video where the gender reveal explosion caused the big forest fire? Man. Relationships? Yes. Married again? Hell no. Ooh, that bad. 007, never get scarred again. So Blofeld and You Only Live Twice could not be shown. Silva could not be shown. Nobody could be shown. Oh, man. So, guys, I think we're going to go. I was going to wait till we hit under 300 viewers, but we keep staying at a constant 313. And I really want to get this video up and take a leak. So, folks, damn it just went up again. Now it keeps going up. Oh, man. Don't make anime real people into anime. I don't like that either. I dig some anime. Oh, I actually got my new Lupin the Third Blu-ray in the mail yesterday. I don't know if I'm going to review it. Maybe I'll review it for Patreon. Does anybody really care about Lupin the Third? I do. He's my favorite. I love to draw the character, like, a lot. The two things I love to draw the most, Spider-Man and Lupin the Third. So if you guys want to know more about me, there you go. But I got Volume 4, The Italian Adventures, and they brought back my favorite voice cast. So that excites me. Was it Tony Oliver, as Lupin the Third. That's my bread and butter. We got 319 likes. Okay, cool. So this has been a pretty good stream. So Damaj and I will check out your video later tonight. Folks, check out the High Council. It'll be on Geeks and Gamers tonight. Jeremy will be back. I believe the High Council's been without him for 2 weeks. It was without me for a week. So I apologize for getting sick, but I finally feel like I'm 110%. So I'm ready to fucking go. I'm pumped. I'm amped up. So you will catch me tonight. I will be working in a little bit on a video about our the Star Wars thing I've been dying to talk about. And always be on the lookout for more content from world-class bullshitters. Expect some Smash fun this weekend. And like I said, if you're a patron and you want to get in on the gaming with me, shoot me a message with your friend code. I'll friend you. We'll talk. We'll play. All I ask is that everyone's a little patient with me to try to figure out how to get my audio to work. So if you see some streams go up and they suck, don't worry. It's not the direction of the channel. I just want to make sure I get it right for when it is the main event, Like Ed and Shaun of the Dead says, I only do it on the night of. Well, it's always the night of, and I'm always trying to do it right the first time. So, folks, I will have a fantastic day. I will have a better night. So until next time, folks, be excellent to each other.